this chamber, we warned our colleagues on the government bench that the revenue measures you have put in place, contrary to your thinking that it will raise more revenue so that you can meet your expenditure commitments, it will not meet the target. Mr. Speaker, half year when we came here, revenue was underperforming by 3 billion Ghana cedis. In fact, if you read the all of government reports published by the Controller and Accountant General, contrary to their claim that we didn't leave them buffers, the balance brought forward from 2024 is 11 billion Ghana cedis. If you add that to the 3 billion, their revenue shortfall at half year was 14 billion. Mr. Speaker, as at now, the revenue shortfall is 8 billion. If you look at the numbers, 8 billion. And if you add that 11 billion to it, that is 19 billion. Mr. Speaker, if Hansard and our colleagues who are here will be truthful to themselves, mid-year, we told them here that by the end of the year, they will have to cut expenditure by 30 billion because their revenue is not performing. Today, when you look at the tables, you have cut expenditure by 28 billion. Then you cut 30 billion because revenue is not performing. Why is that important? Because, Mr. Speaker, all the promises that you make, if you are not able to mobilize the revenue, you cannot fulfill it. If you go into the tables and you find the numbers that were promised us, the team from finance told us that they were going to remove taxes and they won't bring new taxes. And that after they have implemented this new fiscal strategy, they will get more revenue. Remember, the finance minister told us that he was going to move tax to GDP ratio, in fact, revenue to GDP ratio, from 13% to 18%. I'm sure we all remember. Mr. Speaker, when we were leaving power, revenue as a percentage of GDP was 16%. After they implemented their strategy, revenue is now underperforming. It's now at 11% of GDP. Colleagues, if you haven't taken time to look at the tables, you have lost 5% of GDP on revenue. You think there's more money? 5% of GDP, that is 5% of 1 trillion, is 50 billion Ghana cedis. If you don't understand it, please let me explain some more. What boka 50 billion? And that is why you have had to cut your expenses. And Mr. Speaker, the expenses they have cut, it's not just numbers. The 28 billion they have cut is not numbers. They are teachers who were waiting to be recruited. And because this government has played politics with the revenue strategy, they are at home. They are nurses who were waiting to be recruited. Because you have played politics with the revenue strategy, they are sitting at home. They are contractors who are waiting to be paid. And because you have been doing politics with the revenue strategy, they have not been paid. Mr. Speaker, they are the flagship programs that young Ghanaians are waiting for this government to fund. And because they've been doing politics with it, they cannot fund even their own flagship programs. So, Mr. Speaker, when we are drawing their attention to the fact that their revenue strategy is not performing, they can dance and sing as much as they want in the chamber. The results out there will show them. Mr. Speaker, 2025, they promised to spend 51 million Ghana cedis on the Women's Bank. They did not spend it. Then this year, without providing any report on it, they announced that they've increased the budget to 400 million and that it is a credible budget. Does that sound like credibility to you? 2025, you promised 1.5 billion to the agri sector to improve agriculture. You haven't done much. In fact, it took 1 day to the budget before they launched in Kokon Kitinkiti. Zero work done. And then now you come and promise 2 billion cedis for agri, and you say it is a credible budget. Does that sound credible to you? You promised 300 million for apprenticeship program. Where are the apprentices? What work are they doing? Nothing happens, and then you come back and promise another 170 million. Does that sound like credibility? So, colleagues, in all humility, if you stop dancing in the chamber and pay attention to the numbers, you realize that you have a big problem. In fact, we all have a big problem that we have to fix. When you say this, then they say, oh, the cedi has appreciated by 30%. Inflation is down. Monetary policy rate is down. And so by Papa. Mr. Speaker, let me take my time to draw the attention once again to a few more things. In the beginning, we told them that, colleagues, this currency that has appreciated by 30% is a matter of fact, but it is because you are pumping dollars into the economy. You will recall, Mr. Speaker, that when we said it, the governor of the central bank told us on the 30th of April 2025, and I quote, "The Bank of Ghana is not injecting dollars to support the cedi stability." This is a matter of record. We kept insisting that they were pumping. So when the Bishops' Conference visited the president at Jubilee House, they inquired of him that, "Mr. President, the minority say that you are pumping and that the fundamentals haven't changed." Mr. President told them that no, it's not true, and that it is effective leadership that was leading to the gains of the cedi. We kept reading the summary of economic and financial data and telling them that, "Colleagues, you are pumping." It took the IMF to draw their attention and ask them to stop, and then the depreciation resumed. When it resumed, by the 10th of September, when the president held the press conference, the media asked him that, "Mr. President, it has started depreciating again." That was when the president admitted and said the Bank of Ghana had been intervening, and it is when they stopped that the depreciation has resumed. Mr. Speaker, the IMF has instructed the central bank, and I can say on authority, that henceforth, every month before they pump, they should announce. And that is why on the 5th of October, the Bank of Ghana announced that they were going to pump 1.15, and on the 3rd of November, they announced that they were going to pump another 1 billion. Mr. Speaker, from January till now, the Bank of Ghana has pumped not less than 8 billion cedis to shore up, $8 billion, I beg your pardon, to shore up the currency. Ghana's import bill so far is about $14 billion. So the normal supply of dollar in the economy will give us problems. It is this pumping that is holding us up. Mr. Speaker, what we should do is to take advantage of the windfall forex that we are getting from the gold purchase program and fix the structural issues. Else you can dance as much as you want in the chamber. If we are hit by one challenge, we will be in trouble. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to inflation, if you don't tackle the supply side issues, and all that you are doing is that you are sterilizing, the consequence, Mr. Speaker, will be that you will claim inflation has come down, but the lived experience of people out there will be that the prices of the average goods and services they are buying is going up. Mr. Speaker, if you say that the monetary policy rate of the central bank has come down, so interest rates are solid, I beg of you to check the average lending rate and the stock of credit to private sector. You will find that it hasn't reflected. So we have serious issues to deal with. We should not reduce it to name calling and dancing and singing. Else, one major shock, we'll be back to where we are. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me focus my attention on the real sector. Agric, you promised 1.5 billion investment into two major things, Feed Ghana and Nkukon Kitinkiti. Nkukon Kitinkiti, you launched it one day before you came to read the second of your 4 budgets. So how much investment has gone into it? Zero. Feed Ghana, how much has gone into it? Where are the farmers who are supposedly benefiting from it for it to lead to an improvement in agriculture? So real sector investment, growth and jobs is not happening. Industry, you inherited a 24-hour economy program. You said it was a bad program. In fact, you inherited a 1D, 1F program. I beg your pardon. You said it was a bad program and that you are replacing it with a 24-hour economy program. No problem.
So
when
should I ask that you inherited 24-hour economy should be expunged from the record? No, they inherited a 1D, 1F program. And then they said it wasn't good for purpose, and so they were replacing it with a 24-hour economy program. Mr. Speaker, the National Development Planning Commission of the Republic of Ghana has reported that the 1D, 1F program left 150 factories that were functioning. That is 18 factories a year. So in 2025, when you suspended the 1D, 1F program, the opportunity cost is 18 factories that could have created jobs for young people. You said 24-hour economy program. Where are the factories? How many jobs? You ended up even by telling us that in 2026, we should not expect a program and a budget. Now you say you are going to give us 110 million for the 24-hour economy factory. You have no program to create industrial jobs. Mr. Speaker, in the budget, they say they are going to create 800,000 jobs. And I saw my brother John Dumelo dancing at the back there that Ato is forcing because he's announced 800,000 jobs. They forgot that the next paragraph says that 490,000 of those jobs are laborers. Paragraph 501, please listen. Mr. Speaker,
63 billion Ghana cedis worth of road contracts awarded so far under the big push, and it will generate 490,000 jobs. So your 800,000 jobs that you are announcing in your own budget, almost 500,000 of them are going to be manual labor on road projects. I was in Cape Coast University 2 days ago. The students who are about to graduate, those in the technical universities, you don't have plans for them. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by reminding our colleagues that if this budget really intends to create growth and jobs, they need to be investing in the job-creating initiatives. You can make all the noise that you want. If your revenue doesn't perform, you won't get the money to invest in it. If your revenue doesn't perform and you don't invest it in the things that will create jobs, the young people will come for you at the end of the day. You say you don't have fiscal space. You are doing fiscal discipline. So I was shocked to hear you say that now you have space to buy a new executive jet. 2, actually. You don't have fiscal space. You don't have fiscal space to finish paying the contractors on outstanding projects, but you have fiscal space to buy 2 executive jets. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to conclude by reminding our colleagues, your revenue strategy is not performing. You don't have resources to expend. You are pumping because gold prices is at $4,000. It may not be there forever. You have 2 more budgets to go. I beg of you, spend it doing the real structural issues, not dancing over temporary results. Else, we'll be back here some other time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honorable Adongo.
Mr. Speaker, my colleague, Mr. Speaker, my colleague cited me.
Honourable members, let me sign this signal. When you are debating, avoid mentioning somebody's name. By the rules, once you mention the person's name, when he's up, I would give the person the floor. Honorable Adongo, you have the floor.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, my colleague attributed falsehood to me. He attributed falsehood to me. When I stood up yesterday, I said the rate of debt accumulation went into negative territory in many years. In many years. 2021 to 2025 is 14 years. That is in many years. I did not say that it has never gone into negative territory. That is one. 2, Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. There is no instruction. Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, please, I recognize Honorable Adongo. Honorable Adongo, kindly conclude.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. Ghana is under an official IMF program, and there are benchmarks and there are prior actions. There is nowhere in the IMF program where there has been an instruction to Ghana not to intermediate in our market, and that there is no letter, there is no official master. This is a House of Records. This is a House of Records. The IMF has not asked the government of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance or the Bank of Ghana to make any announcement in managing its foreign currency. Therefore, the honorable colleague, is not supported by the facts, and this is a House of Records. I therefore request that, Mr. Speaker, that should be expunged from the records, because the IMF program is an official record, is an official program, and there is no instruction to the government of Ghana not to manage its foreign currency. And nobody should be allowed to put into the official records that Ghana has been asked to report to the public when it wants to manage its foreign currency. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Honourable members, we can make our submission without mentioning a member's name. The rules are very clear. Honourable Kojo Opon Nkrumah, your name has not been mentioned, so I will not give you the floor. I proceed to recognize Honourable Alfred Ni Kote. You have the floor. Honourable Alfred Ni Kote, you have the floor. Well, I will also... Honourable members, order. Yes, Honourable Jerry Ahmed.
Speaker, with all due deference to you, we understand that names are not to be mentioned when we are having debates. Yesterday, my respected colleague, Honorable Kojo Opon Nkrumah's name was mentioned. He actually stood up trying to catch your attention, which I believe he caught your attention, Speaker. But, Speaker, he was ignored.
Then he didn't catch my eye.
Speaker, Speaker, that's for your attention.
Then I'll proceed to mention Honorable Alikplim Akurugu. You have 5 minutes. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, the order of names that we submitted, the next speaker, the next person to comment at this stage should be Gakwe, in the order that we presented to you.
With all due respect, I have the list here. The first on the list is Honorable Fred Agbanyo. Second on the list is Honorable Kletu Sedu Dapila. Third on the list is Honorable Alfred Ni Kote. Fourth on the list is Honorable Alikplim Akurugu. That is the list I have before me.
Mr. Speaker,
so
that's fine.
From which
Mr.
list
Speaker,
are you speaking?
That's fine. So, Alikplim, please speak.
This is what I have. I don't have any new list. Honorable Alikplim Akurugu, you have the floor. Honorable Alikplim Akurugu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the debate on the 2026 budget statement and economic policy of the government delivered by the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ato Forson. Mr. Speaker, the agricultural sector remains the backbone of the economy and our lifeline for many million Ghanaian households. As the Speaker, as the Minister rightly said, the agricultural sector has recorded.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, you have no right to ask the member to stop talking.
Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect.
But you cannot ask the member to stop talking.
Mr. Speaker, we are supposed
you can draw my attention to something, but you cannot ask the member to stop talking.
The member is speaking and they are making noise. I have every right to draw attention to it. Mr. Speaker, to tell me that I have no right, it's also not regular.
Order.
Please listen to her in silence.
Honourable members, order.
Why?
Honourable members, order. Honourable Akurugu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As the minister rightly stated, the agriculture sector has seen a 6% growth, doubling that of last year. The progress is commendable and reflects the resilience of our farmers and growing impact of target interventions. Mr. Speaker, I was surprised to hear or listen to our former Minister for Finance. I don't know what he was saying, but Mr. Speaker, under his watch, the agriculture sector saw an emergency responses, whilst the current budget, which our Honourable Minister Atufosin recorded, is being managed and structural reforms are being formed. The former government acted on emergency relief of 500 million to ease drought and food security, whilst Dr. Atufosin is giving us a driving and a long-term structural reforms for agro growth. Mr. Speaker,
as your name be mentioned,
under the watch of our former minister, he focused on short-term
Honourable
fixes,
Amim,
credit
I'm avoiding
assets,
interruptions. So
exports,
if after her debate
bans,
you want the floor,
basic
I'll give you the floor.
climate actions.
Just like what I did for Adongo.
And under our current finance minister, we are seeing pursuing comprehensive long-term reforms through broader financing, value chain development, climate-driven industrialization, and major infrastructure investment. Mr. Speaker, the 2024 budget under the former minister was appropriate for purposes stabilizing food security system during national emergency. Mr. Speaker, it was under his watch when we noticed that donkeys, fertilizers meant for farmers, were being exported and the monies used to buy lands for themselves. Mr. Speaker, under the watch of Honourable Atufosin, he is bringing bold, systematic, investment-driven, and transformational to the economy. It addresses the root causes of agriculture underperformance, builds sustainable value chains, and positions agriculture as a modern economic engine. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget deserves commendation for shifting agriculture from survival competitiveness and from crisis management to national development. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity. I am grateful.
Yes, Honourable Amin Adams. Next on the list is Honourable Kobina Ochre Daku Mensah. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I do believe that, first and foremost, our side have already delivered on the budget and actually punched the necessary holes in the budget. Mr. Speaker. Hello. Mr. Speaker. What's he doing here? Mr. Speaker. The mic is not working.
Honourable member, you have the floor.
Hello, Mr. Speaker. Hello, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I will basically be looking at the budget from the inability of the Finance Ministry and the government to raise the necessary revenues. Hello? Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the only way you can fix the economy of this country is the ability of government to raise revenues. And we know that for the budgeted amount of 162 billion, only 154 was raised, clearly showing that this government have been very lazy in raising the necessary revenues to spend on the good people of this country. Mr. Speaker, you will also realize that this government, under the 2025 budget, came to this House to tell us that they were removing what we call Hello?
Honorable, continue.
Unfortunately, they introduced so many taxes, more than 10 of them. They increased the growth and sustainability levy by 300%, from 1% to 3%. They also extended the sunset clause, sending it from 2025 to 2028. Mr. Speaker, electricity tariffs have also been increased in this country almost to 19%, whilst water prices have also increased by 4%. Mr. Speaker, you would also realize that when it even comes to government taxes and charges, government charges and fees, they've increased that between 30 to 40% in this country. And therefore, when the government says that inflation is reducing, you realize that on the market, the story is entirely different. So whilst people are trying to praise this budget, I want to say that what they are doing in 2025 have shown all Ghanaians that nothing is really happening. Recently, the Minister for Finance himself had done some few rounds and had gone to Takrady, and he has stated it clearly in the budget, paragraph 1192. Mr. Speaker, after his rounds, he had done his own radio presentations, and I would like to quote what had come from City. Mr. Speaker, whilst he was trying to tout himself, the people of Takrady in particular, this is what he said, and I quote: "Some listeners from Takrady questioned the accuracy of the market price claims made during the minister's recent tour of Takrady." So clearly, if the minister is claiming that inflation is coming down to 9%, 8%, single digits, clearly it is not being felt on the grounds. So clearly that shows that this budget is not telling the truth. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the prices of goods on the market, sugar, Mr. Speaker, sugar used to be 480 per bag. Today, as we speak, sugar prices are 540 at the Takrady market. Mr. Speaker, when you take 1 cup, we used to be 6 cedis. Today is 10 Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, Kenke, which used to be 5 cedis, is now 7 cedis. So clearly, Mr. Speaker, it shows that the government of Ghana, the budget presented by Dr. Atto-Forson, is just not working. Mr. Speaker, therefore, every Ghanaian should know that the budget they keep presenting to us and by the NDC is not a budget that is solving the problems of this country. Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, is he citing Kempinski hotel prices Is it Kempinski Hotel prices or Makola prices?
I've mentioned these are price.
Honourable member, continue.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, one other area the Minister of Finance has deliberated on in this House has to do the issue of big push. Mr. Speaker, even before the minister started spending on big push, we were told last year that they've spent over 10 billion on projects that we know have not started. If you look at budget appendix 2C on the second column, you see clearly there. For the first part, it said they have spent 6 billion, 6.6, and the second part, 3.2. But we all know in this country that big push have not started. In fact, when they came to Takrady to even launch, what is it? When they came to Takrady to launch the big push, no contractor was introduced. The president was the contractor, and at the same time, the person cutting the sword for the project.
Hold on. Honorable Kwame Agujan, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Ordinarily, I should let my colleague flow in the debate. But, Mr. Speaker, we beg of you, if colleagues make statements, and I'm grateful you gave me the opportunity. My colleague just said that the finance minister has said that we spent 6 billion on big push, and he is aware that big push hasn't started. How can you even make that comment? When you know in this House, Mr. Speaker, we have listed projects that have started, and I've come here to say that some of the big push projects are 30% already into the program. So if you don't know about these things, don't say these things. Don't say these things. Big push projects are on site. Big push projects are on site.
Yes, Honorable Habib.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the first two speakers, you were able to manage it very well. Mr. Speaker, yourself, you can see that when you give opportunities on points of order, people are now abusing Order 122. So, Mr. Speaker, with respect, let the debate flow and don't give chances to all these.
Honourable members,
Mr. Speaker, if they have something to say, there is a next speaker. They can hand it over to the person.
Honourable members,
do the correction, and then we move on.
If you watch me carefully, when a member is commenting on the budget and our rules are breached, I know. Don't take it that I don't know when the rules are breached. Honorable Ochre, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for indulging me. My name was mentioned by Honorable Akurugu to the effect that we use the money meant for the fertilizers to go and buy land for ourselves.
Honorable member, you realize that after Akurugu has finished speaking, I give the floor to Honorable Amin Adam.
No, I didn't hear my name.
You stood up, but you sat down again.
No, I didn't hear my name.
I did so. The record can bear me out. They can play the voice recording for you.
I didn't. And so, Mr. Speaker,
they can play the voice recording for you.
Mr. Speaker, I think she should provide evidence.
I really mentioned your name.
I didn't hear, Mr. Speaker. And if you indulge me, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker,
members, if you can keep quiet and listen to each other,
I said I didn't hear.
I think it will be of a great service to all of us. The record will show that I mentioned your name, but you said you did not hear me.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't hear. And so if you indulge me, I will request
Honorable member, that time has lapsed. Now, Honorable Ochre,
Mr. Speaker,
Daku Mensah is on the floor.
Mr. Speaker,
so if you are up Are you interrupting him and you can tell me the basis?
That information
Kindly resume your seat.
Otherwise, she should provide evidence.
Kindly resume your seat.
She should provide evidence.
Former Minister, kindly resume your seat.
Mr. Speaker,
please resume your seat. The floor is for documents and honorable documents, and you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, it's not a fair ruling.
Mr. Speaker, we all know that Big Push is not a funding source. It's just a program name. And therefore, if you are talking about new projects under the Big Push, there is no way in this budget that new projects have started under the Big Push. And therefore, any expenditure under the Big Push are for old Nana Akufo-Addo's projects. And the NDC cannot claim those projects. Mr. Speaker, the budget also make mention of spending over 292 million on sanitary pads. The same NDC, prior to 2005, during the 2024 campaign, made mention that they are going to go into what we call the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, we've had different versions of the explanations for the 24-hour economy. But we all know that the youth of this country are looking for jobs. That is why they bought into this project. Mr. Speaker, I do believe that spending 292 million on just sanitary pads alone is not good enough. In fact, we should take part of that money to set up factories in every constituency of this country. At least, if you are even spending 200,000 Ghana cedis to set up a sanitary pad factory, we can provide sanitary pad factories and employ over 100 people per factory in all the constituency of this country. At least that can be said to be maybe an agenda 276 instead of 24-hour economy, so that the youth of this country can be employed and they can produce these sanitary pads locally and supply the schools that we want to supply. Because with only $20,000, we should be able to set up these factories across the length and breadth of our country. Mr. Speaker, one other area that I've been talked about in this House is that anytime we give an advice, our brothers on this side, I've heard Jirapa, I've heard Honorable Adongo, telling us that we have messed up the economy and will under them an economy that has been messed up. But Mr. Speaker, everybody knows in this country that before we took over power in 2017, the economy itself had been messed up. Because if you look at the data for 2016 and the data for 2024, you can see a marked improvement in these data. And therefore, I believe that the Ghanaians should know that those who messed up the economy was not the MPP. We came to fix the problem. Because we are all here when the NDC supervised the biggest banking loot in this country, costing the nation over 30 billion Ghana cedis. At that time, about $6 billion. It took the courage and the energy of the MPP administration to look for money to solve this problem. It was after that that COVID also came to create additional problems. And we were able to solve them to the extent that whilst we took a growth rate under the John Dramani administration, from 3.4%, we were able to move it to 5.7. 5.7. So nobody should be able to say this again in this House, that we messed up the economy. We never messed up the economy. We were faced with challenges and we were able to solve it. Under the NDC, there are no challenges in this country. But even inflation, single digit, they are only doing just about 8. In 2019, with this single digit of 7.9% of inflation. So definitely, the NDC cannot debate with us and tell us that they are doing better under us. And everybody know where they are getting their monies for the dollar depreciation. So please, Mr. Speaker, I do believe that the biggest challenge we have in this country is that the structure of the economy has to be reorganized. Because without productivity, we cannot naturally deal with the issue of depreciation of the cedi in this country. Recently, when the minister came to present the budget, the dollar was just about 10.7. Today, as we speak, we are looking at 11.45 of the dollar. So clearly, the dollar is not stable. Today, check. You can check. Bank of Ghana rates. Bank of Ghana rates. But we brought it down before we handed it over to you. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no way the NDC can do anything better than what we did under our term. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to assure everybody that the choices the NDC are now making are not good choices. We need choices that will continue to support the growth of this country. It is very important, very, very, very important, that when we were in power, they insisted there was no need for us to buy helicopters and jets for the government and the army. Today, they've come back. They have to be on principles. We cannot be running this country without principles. If they believe that we didn't need it, why now? Why now? Why do you want to use the taxpayers' money now for those purchases to put the president in executive jets? I believe that it is time they rethink, because the 1.2 billion can be used in fixing the Accra-Kumasi road, where a lot of people have been dying. In fact, we just need a minimum of 3.7 billion to complete the bypasses and get the double road or the dual carriages from Accra to Kumasi. And I believe that when we are able to spend that money better that way, debt on that road will reduce, productivity will increase, and the structure of our economy will change, so that we can naturally support our city, we can naturally support the growth and development and the creation of jobs in this country, so that more of our youth, more of our young people will be able to better benefit from the budget that we have developed. With these few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Honourable members, I then proceed to give the floor to Honourable Alfred Nikote. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you once again. I'm privileged to also share on the budget that Honorable Atuforsin has come to lay before this House. But, Mr. Speaker, it baffles me when I hear our colleagues on the other side churning out figures that we don't know where they are generated from. Because we are in this country, in fact, we were in this country when they churned out figures to the World Bank and gave Ghana conflicting figures. But because truth do not lie, they were caught in flagrante delicto. To say they were caught pants down. Mr. Speaker, it was clear what we all witnessed under the MPP government. It was obvious the economy was so malnourished that my Bukom brother in Bukom will call it a kwashiorkor economy. That is what we inherited, a kwashiorkor economy. Today, we have a government that has put better measures in place, and we are all seeing the signs of the economy improving. Let me get on to the specifics. In the area of health, and Mr. Speaker, if you permit, I would like to refer us to page 183 of this budget statement, page 183. And I want to lay emphasis on health. Mr. Speaker, under health alone, allocations made for 2026 is 22 billion, over 22 billion Ghana cedis, almost 23 billion. These monies hitherto would not have been gotten because under the MPP, they capped all those sectors and create inconveniences for NHIS and what have you. Today, we have uncapped it. And I don't want to go into the details because one of my colleagues have done that already. But, Mr. Speaker, these monies will be channeled into the NHIS fund so that we'll have monies to pay claims, unlike what they faced that they couldn't pay. So there will be confidence in the Ghanaian when they take their health insurance card and say they are going to the hospital. Under the MPP, healthcare was so bad that even vaccines for children, what we used to call 6 killer diseases, now more than that. We couldn't even get vaccines to save our children. Today, Mr. Speaker, today, infection and control has been elevated nationally. Infection prevention and control has been elevated, such that all over the country, you see nurses going from one house to the other, vaccinating children. We couldn't see that under MPP. Mr. Speaker, under this government, we have been able to commence the development of the National Cleft Center in Konfanochi to save those who are suffering from that. They were in power for 8 years. They didn't see the need to do that. We have partnered organizations and we are developing that for Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, under emergency response, the National Ambulance Service in just 1 year has trained 500 emergency medical technicians. Under MPP, they couldn't do. 500 in 1 year. Additionally, we were able to train 6,000 youth as first aid responders under the National Ambulance Service. MPP couldn't achieve that. Mr. Speaker, nursing training support. Mr. Speaker, we have been able to make full payment of the nurses' allowances. Something they made noise over. Mr. Speaker, they made so much noise over it that they couldn't achieve that. They couldn't pay. We have been able to achieve that. Now, as we speak, 13,500 nurses have been placed on payroll. Something they couldn't do as well. Mr. Speaker, we are expanding health training institutes all over the country. Institutions that are being developed all over the country. We have given accreditation to several new teaching centers as well. Under the MPP, they couldn't do. Mr. Speaker, it will amaze you that threatened to go on strike. Today, 230 John Mahama. Attendants have been trained.
Honourable Member, your time is up. I'll proceed to give the floor to Honourable Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo. You have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the 2026 budget statement and economic policy debate. Mr. Speaker, let us be clear. This 2026 budget must be evaluated and analyzed in a context, Mr. Speaker. And the context is the basis on which the current National Democratic Congress Mahama administration came to office. Mr. Speaker, they came to office on two fundamental pillars and commitment to the Ghanaian people. Two. Mr. Speaker, the first is to implement policies, programs, and interventions to reduce cost of living and cost of doing business. Mr. Speaker, the second is to create the hundreds and thousands of jobs for the teaming we're pointing in the right direction. But it's also important for me to point out, Mr. Speaker, that this is principally as a result of the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan by the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government. Mr. Speaker, and secondly, also on account of the domestic gold purchase program, which was initiated by the Akufo-Addo administration. Mr. Speaker, indeed, in April 2024, specifically paragraph 232 of the 2024 budget, it was projected that by the end of 2025, inflation will ease to 8%. And inflation has been easing all the way to 8%. Mr. Speaker, this government committed to realizing these two commitments of reducing cost of living, cost of doing business, and ensuring that they reduce unemployment in our country, principally on one major policy commitment they made to the Ghanaian people, particularly the Ghanaian youth, the 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, let me refer this House to Chapter 2 of the NDC Manifesto, specifically paragraph 2.1 on page 22, where they said, Mr. Speaker, and I quote, the 24-hour economic policy, same jobs, 3 shifts, 3 people, the 24-hour economy is a deliberate policy intervention by the incoming NDC administration to stimulate economic growth by creating an enabling environment for businesses and public institutions to operate 24/7 in 3 shifts of 8 hours each, end quote. So, Speaker, in August 2024, at the launch of the NDC manifesto for the 2024 election, then candidate John Dramani Mahama, now President Mahama, Mr. Speaker, had this to say, and he said that the 24-hour economy is going to be coined in a slogan called 133 formula. And the president said, Mr. Speaker, and this is very important, the president said that Ghanaian youth will have this opportunity. One person will start a job, the same job, at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8 hours. And from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight, another 8 hours, a second Ghanaian youth will take over. And that from 12 midnight to 8 a.m., another Ghanaian youth will take over, 8 hours. It means for one job, Mr. Speaker, one person will do 8 hours from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., another person will take the same job from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight, and the third person will take the job from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Agenda 133 formula. Mr. Speaker, I want to contend and submit here. Mr. Speaker, that the Ministry of Finance itself today closes at 5 p.m. The Ministry of Finance is running an 8-hour economy. The Ministry of Finance is not running this 133 shift. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy is not being implemented. Instead of that, Mr. Speaker, when our friends came into government, all they have been doing is sacking Ghanaian youth, is sacking young men who have been employed by the previous administration. And Mr. Speaker, this is a reality. You can check it out yourself. Across the length and breadth of our country, in all sectors of our national life, in all sectors of our national economy, thousands of Ghanaian youth, innocent Ghanaian youth, some of them NDC sympathizers, some of them MPP sympathizers, some of them non-aligned, ordinary Ghanaian citizens are being sacked. We are not getting 24-hour economy. We are not getting Agenda 113. We are rather getting, Mr. Speaker, a sacking of Ghanaian youth. That is the lot of our people, our opponents from this side. Mr. Speaker, it's important for us to point out that, as I said, the current state of the Ghanaian economy, Mr. Speaker, the data may look good, the statistics may look good, but the truth is that the Ministry of Finance is not spending. Mr. Speaker, let's take a look at paragraph 123 of the 2026 budget. The budget itself, Mr. Speaker, indicates that for the first 3 quarters of 2025, the Ministry of Finance had projected to spend the sum of 207 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, the Finance Minister himself, in reporting to this House, has indicated that they have spent 175.9 billion Ghana cedis, a shortfall of 15%. Mr. Speaker, government spending, let us be clear, government spending anywhere in the world is a catalyst for growth. And when government spends, what they call the trickle-down economic effect. Mr. Speaker, it trickles down to every Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, so when you lock the votes, when you lock the treasury, when you lock the exchequer, when you don't spend, it affects everybody. It affects the nurses. It affects contractors. It affects farmers. It affects each and every person. So and if you want evidence, this is real. I come from a rural constituency of Damango. a farming constituency. Today, Mr. Speaker, on 10th November 2025, Joy News reported, and I quote, "Farmers cry out over unsold rice as 1 million metric tons rot in storage," end quote. Mr. Speaker, we are being told today that 1 million metric tons of rice are packed in warehouses at a value, an estimated value of 15 billion Ghana cedis. Nobody can buy. In my constituency of Damango, Mr. Speaker, maize farmers are having a bad day. Groundnut farmers are having a bad day. It is principally because government is not spending, purchasing power is weakened, credit is unavailable, domestic produce cannot be absorbed, and money circulation is low, liquidity is not in the system. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, when you go out there on the streets of Ghana, the statement on the lips of many Ghanaians is that Finance Minister Atufor's money is just on paper. It's just on paper. Mr. Speaker, he makes allocations. Mr. Speaker, he makes allocations as he did when he appeared before this House. 1 billion for agriculture, 100 billion for that, this billion for that. But when you go and look at the actuals, releases are in many cases 30%. Finance Minister Atufor's money is only on paper, it's not in the pocket of ordinary citizens. Yeah. It's not in the pocket of farmers, Mr. Speaker. Yeah. It's not in the pocket of teachers. Yeah. It's not in the pocket of nurses. Yeah. And certainly it's not in the pocket of the unemployed, struggling Ghanaian youth. Yeah. Speaker, so our friends must get it clear. You can have all the data, you can have all the statistics, you can quieten the economy, you can close down economic activity, you will not have real economic growth in the real sectors, your books will look good, but in the end, you will realize, Mr. Speaker, that on the streets, grassroots economics will tell you that people are really having a hard time. And ministers across here, Mr. Speaker, our friends, our colleagues, ministers, will attest to what I'm saying. No jobs are happening in the ministries because ministers will not get money to do their work. Ministries, departments, and agencies are not receiving any payment to be able to provide goods and services for the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, this government, we want to caution and encourage them to get their priorities right. Mr. Speaker, they should invest in the real sectors. They should invest in agriculture. They should invest in infrastructure. They should invest in the service industry. They should invest in manufacturing. They should invest in areas which will unleash jobs and prosperity for the Ghanaian people. Mr. Speaker, but instead, what are they spending on? Mr. Speaker, what are they spending on? And by that, Mr. Speaker, by that, let me refer, Mr. Speaker, to the monetary policy report of the Bank of Ghana, dated September 2025, specifically page 21, Mr. Speaker, where the Bank of Ghana, the central bank of our country itself, has said the three major threats to the national economy of our country, Mr. Speaker, continue to be, in their own words, increasing energy sector payments, revenue performance, rising compensation cost. The emphasis is mine, Mr. Speaker. I refer to rising compensation cost. Mr. Speaker, we have been promised a lean government, and we've been told that we have a lean government. But you have a lean government that is lean on the arms, lean on the limbs, lean in every part, but very bloated on the stomach. A Koshoko lean government. Mr. Speaker, you have a lean government where we have a special envoy for reparations, special envoy to the Caribbean regions, 18 deputy heads of missions. Mr. Speaker, if you want to get the evidence, this is your evidence. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, President Akufo-Addo's government, the distinguished and illustrious president of our country, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Mr. Speaker, his government, Office of the President in 2024, Mr. Speaker, spent 326 million cedis on compensation. in paying government workers, paying ministers, deputy ministers, presidential staffers. Mr. Speaker, in 2025, President Mohammed's government, Office of the President, President Mohammed's government has spent a whooping 540 million Ghana cedis on compensation. 50% increment. Mr. Speaker, so why can't we interrogate this? You have one government that is supposed to have a bloated government, another government that's supposed to have a lean government. The government that has a lean government is spent 356 million Ghana cedis on compensation. That is salary, paying salaries to their workers. The bloated government rather spends 547 million, 50% more, which is why, Mr. Speaker, I say that this is a called lean government. It is lean on the legs, it's lean on the limbs. Mr. Speaker, it is bloated with consumption because you are spending a lot. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. In spite of all these problems, the government, Mr. Speaker, in spite of all these problems, the government wants to spend 1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential debts. To purchase presidential debts. 1.2 billion Ghana cedis to purchase presidential debt. Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about 1.2 billion United States dollars to purchase presidential debt. When you cannot pay nurses, when you cannot pay teachers, when you cannot buy farm produce, when you cannot recruit workers. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. President Mahama taught us and reminded the country that President Akufo-Addo should take charge. He should not engage in blame game. That is responsible for resolving the problems of this country. President Mahama should take charge. Mr. Speaker, should take charge, and this minority, this MPP minority,
yes,
this MPP minority, this mighty minority, we are saying, so far, so not well. So
yes,
far, so not
leader.
good. So far, so much unemployment and suffering.
Majority
that
leader.
is what this 2026 budget is offering the Ghanaian people. Suffering and unemployment. I thank you, Mr.
Majority
Speaker.
leader, you have the floor. You have the floor. Yes, Majority Leader. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we agreed from the onset. To allow free flow of debate, and we're all committed to that. But then we caution that we should be accurate in our statistics and our figures. Mr. Speaker, he said that in this budget, 1.2 billion dollars, $1.2 billion has been allocated to buy a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, he should just show us which line item contained in the budget has an allocation or a proposal of $1.2 billion for the purchase of a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, it is important. This is a House of Records. Otherwise, you have to expunge this from the records of this House. Because nowhere in this budget is $1.2 billion allocated for the purchase of a presidential jet. $1.2 billion. How much is Air Force One? Air Force One, how much does it cost? How much does Air Force One cost? For us to allocate $1.2 billion for a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, he should show us.
You should show us 1.2 billion United States dollars for a presidential jet. I want to see that.
Yes, honorable member.
Mr.
First,
Speaker,
mention the page so that everybody can be with you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to respond to the Honorable Majority Leader and to answer his inquiry. Mr. Speaker, may I refer the House to page 184 of the budget statement. Mr. Speaker, and at page 184 of the budget statement, you will see retooling of the Air Force, Mr. Speaker. And retooling of the Air Force, you will see CAPEX. Mr. Speaker, CAPEX meaning capital expenditure. Mr. Speaker, capital expenditure. And Mr. Speaker, I referred only to the 2 presidential jets, which I referred to the 2 presidential jets, which are. But Mr. Speaker, if you have the budget there, please, if you have the budget with you, you will see, Mr. Speaker, if you have the budget at page 184, you will see at CAPEX that what is actually being budgeted for the retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces is Ghana Air Force, Mr. Speaker, is 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion.
Is it dollars or cedis?
2.5 billion Ghana cedis. Hold on. Mr. Speaker, 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 Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, 2.5 billion to buy 2 presidential jets. To buy 2 presidential jets. And Mr. Speaker, you will see, Mr. Speaker, you will see again at paragraphs 1087 and 1091 of the budget statement, 1091 of the budget statement, that $1.2 billion is being programmed, Mr. Speaker, to buy 2 presidential jets, 4 helicopters.
You are calling another paragraph.
No, Mr. Speaker, no, I'm making a point. Mr. Speaker, and the point I made, Mr. Speaker, I'm making a point. The point I sought to make was that if you have this amount of money, teachers have not been paid, nurses have not been paid, farmers' produce are not being bought, market women are complaining about purchases. There are numerous problems in our country. Why will you spend $1.2 billion to buy 2 presidential jets, 4 helicopters, and 1 ship? That is the point I've made, Mr. Speaker. That's the point.
Honourable members, I think that when the figure is quoted in cedis and you want to quote it from the budget, you have to quote what exactly is in the budget. Ghana cedis is quite different from dollars. Honourable members, because the figure quoted by the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, he placed on the record dollars. When given the opportunity, he now mentions cedis.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Speaker, this is a house of record. Mr. Speaker,
yes.
This is a house of record.
Honourable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, and it's a matter of personal integrity. Let me state my position. Mr. Speaker, I am prepared to be corrected if I'm wrong, but in this case, I'm not wrong. Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, this is a matter of personal integrity. Mr. Speaker,
but in your debate, you quoted dollars.
No, but what the dollars is $1.2 billion to buy 2 presidential jets, 4 helicopters, and 1 ship.
Which page of the budget?
That is the point I'm making, and you will find it at paragraph 1087 and 1091 of the budget. Mr. Speaker, what I refer to in the budget itself, Mr. Speaker, what I refer to in the budget itself is a retooling of Ghana Air Force at the CAPEX column, which is the capital expenditure, which is retooling of Ghana Air Force, which is 2.5 billion Ghana cedis. The 1.2 billion United States dollars is for the purchase of 2 presidential jets, 4 helicopters, 1 ship.
Which item in the budget?
And in no humility and modesty, I'm a lawyer. I've checked my first out.
Mention the line item in the budget.
And I know what I'm talking about. It's $1.2 billion.
Yes, Honorable Ayarga. Yes, Honorable Ayarga.
This is the page he's talking about. There's no 1.2 billion.
I have it. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
This is the House of Records. This is the House of Records. And the honorable member who just spoke is a former cabinet minister for lands and natural resources. I need not to lecture him on the value and importance of accuracy. Mr. Speaker, he referred us to page 184. And I have opened page 184 and item 34, Ministry of Defense. Let's go through the items. The third item under Ministry of Defense is retooling of the Air Force. Retooling of the Air Force. And the figure there, CAPEX, is 2,532 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker,
Yes. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I went to primary school in Boku. You may doubt the quality of the schools in Boku, but I cannot imagine which primary school you went, where you were taught that if you convert 2 billion into dollars, you get 1 billion. I don't know which primary school you went to. I went to Boku, a primary school in Boku, and I know that if you use the exchange rate at the Bank of Ghana, what's the figure? 200. You get $260 million. $260 million. How can you say that when you convert 2 billion, you get $1 billion? How can you convert 2 billion Ghana cedis and get $1 billion? What kind of mathematics did you learn in school? Where did you learn mathematics? Which primary school did you attend? How can you convert 2 billion Ghana cedis and get $1.5 billion? In any case, Mr. Speaker, he said the allocation was for a presidential jet. He said a presidential jet. The records will bear us out. The videos are there. You said a presidential jet, $1.2 billion. How much is Air Force One? Air Force One, how much is it? How much is Air Force One? Mr. Speaker, he must withdraw. And it must be expelled from our records.
Honourable members will get to the root of this matter.
This debate has been plagued with lies, inaccuracies, fabricated figures by the minority in order to bolster their argument. We will not accept it. You must be accurate in this debate. I will oppose you.
Order. Honorable Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo. Now, an issue has been raised about you quoting $1.2 billion. Now, for presidential jet. Now, we are debating the budget. You claimed that the figure is emanating from the budget. The question is, take us to the budget item that indicated $1.2 billion for presidential jets. So take us to the line item in the budget. If we do not have it in the line item in the budget, then do the honorable thing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and I should particularly thank you for your indulgence, as this matter borders on my personal integrity. Mr. Speaker, if I got it wrong, I will have no difficulty by withdrawing and apologizing and moving on. But Mr. Speaker, let me crave your indulgence. Mr. Speaker, let me crave your indulgence by indicating to my senior brother, the majority leader, that I also went to Fufuso Primary School in the Savannah region. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader asked me a question. He posed a question to me that where did I attend my basic school? Mr. Speaker, I attended my basic school in Fufuso Preparatory Primary School in the Savannah region. Mr. Speaker, when I was in primary school, I sat on the floor and I was in a modest primary school. I know that the majority leader, having attended school in Boko, proceeded to school in Harvard. And he's had very great height. That is commendable, and I salute him for that. Mr. Speaker, like many Ghanaians, I schooled in modest circumstances. Mr. Speaker, I will please, Mr. Speaker, before I proceed, Mr. Speaker, I know you are a man of fairness and justice. I know that. Mr. Speaker, and I know that you will not allow any member of this House, regardless of his status in this House, to disrespect, to denigrate, to demean myself, and by extension, the thousands and millions of Ghanaians who went to school in deprived communities. And Mr. Speaker, before I proceed to answer your question, and with the greatest of respect, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to you, may I humbly, very humbly, and kindly plead with my senior brother, the majority leader, the leader of this House, the man who leads all of us, and the man who guides all of us, to please kindly do the needful by withdrawing and apologizing to my modest, humble selves and the thousands of Ghanaians for this insult. Before I proceed.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, let's have order. Honourable members, let's listen to each other in silence. Honourable Samuel Abdullah Jinapo, I'm capable of dealing with all issues together. So just answer my question, and in conclusion, you will see what I will do. Honourable members, I have listened to both sides. I know what to do in the circumstances. So let's get the main issue resolved, and I will give consequential orders. Honourable members, I will give consequential orders. So my question is on the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Order. Honourable members.
Mr. Speaker, may I proceed, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, out of respect to you, I will proceed to give the answer. And by giving the answer, Mr. Speaker, I refer the House to page 136 of the budget. Specifically, 136 of the budget. Mr. Speaker, page 136 of the budget. Specifically paragraph, why? Look. Mr. Speaker, specifically paragraphs 1091 and 1092. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, this is what the Finance Minister said to this House. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Air Force will be retooled. Beginning 2026, the government of Ghana will begin the procurement processes for the acquisition of 4 modern helicopters, 1 long range and 1 medium range aircrafts. Mr. Speaker, these aircrafts are expected to be delivered in 4 years' time if the procurement processes are completed in 2026. And then, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, why?
And then, Mr. Speaker, I then refer the House to page 184. Page 184 of the budget statement. Mr. Speaker, under item 34 titled Ministry of Defense. Mr. Speaker, where it is captured retooling of the Air Force, where the CAPEX, capital expenditure, is quoted by 2.5 billion cedis. Mr. Speaker, if you multiply that by 4 years, which the Finance Minister has indicated in page 136, if you multiply that by 4 years, which the Finance Minister has multiplied in the page 184, Mr. Speaker, every year they will provide for it. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude that the statement I made in my contribution to the debate of the budget is on firm grounds, it's on terra firma. They are beginning this year and they are going to continue for 4 years. And this year, $2.5 billion has been programmed. If you multiply by 4, it's $1.2 billion to buy 1 ship, to buy 4 helicopters, and to buy 2 presidential jets. Mr. Speaker, the facts and the data are unimpeachable and unequivocal. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, and now I'm waiting for. We are waiting for the apology. We are waiting for the apology.
Honourable members, order. Honourable members. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, order. Before I begin to name and shame. Honourable members, no one judges a swimmer by the certificate on the shore. You cannot be judged a best swimmer by showing your certificate on the shore. The budget statement is before us. And I can conclusively say that nowhere in the budget statement has a dollar been indicated, because all relevant pages that are referred to, we can all see that dollar has not been mentioned. Therefore, the submission referring to page 136 of the budget, as well as page 184 of the budget. We all have copies of the budget, and we cannot see any dollar mentioned. Honourable members, paragraph 1091 and paragraph 1092 has been mentioned. Honourable members, if you look at those paragraphs, as a matter of fact, those paragraphs never mention any figure. Honourable members, I will consequentially order that because the honourable member did not refer to a specific page in which the dollar is indicated, everything said by the honourable member in dollar should be expunged completely from the record. Now, Honourable Majority Leader, the honourable member indicated clearly that you have attended basic school somewhere. You don't know which school he has attended. He has taken an offense from it. So, Honourable Majority Leader, you are brothers and you are friends. I will call on you to have that withdrawn, and then we can make progress.
Mr. Speaker, Fufulsu Primary School. Fufulsu Primary School is a very good primary school. I know very, very senior civil servants and academics who are products of Fufulsu Primary School. And I know that you had a good maths teacher in that school. I know you had a good maths teacher in that school. Mr. Speaker, because I know that you had a good maths teacher in that school, that's why I'm surprised that when you convert 2 billion Ghana cedis, when you convert 2 billion Ghana cedis into dollars, you get 1.2 billion. When you convert 2 billion Ghana cedis, you get $1.2 billion. I was surprised because I know the school is very good, and I know you had a good maths teacher. So it is obvious that it is not the school. It is not the school. The school is good. The maths teacher was good. The teachers are good. But how you get $1.2 billion from 2 billion Ghana cedis still baffles me. But Mr. Speaker, if he feels offended, I, who went to Boku in a primary school, was taught to apologize and withdraw. So I apologize and I withdraw.
Honourable members, we need to make progress.
It's not fair, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honourable members, we need to make progress.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
We need to make. I'm not giving you the floor. Honourable former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, kindly resume your seat. Kindly resume your seat. Honourable members, how long are we going to continue to debate this issue? The honourable member has withdrawn and apologized to you. Honourable Abdullahi, we give you the opportunity. You refer us to page 136 of the budget, and you again refer us to page 184 of the budget. What you said is not contained in the budget. That is why I have directed that it be withdrawn. It be withdrawn or expunged from the record. Our friends of the media, I indicated again that honourable member refer us to paragraph 136 and 184. I have not seen any 1.2 billion in paragraph 136. I have not seen it in paragraph 184. So accordingly, I have directed that same should be expunged from the record. Can we make progress? Honorable Chief Whip, I intend not to open this debate again. So we should make progress. With all due respect, Honorable Minority Chief Whip, we have closed the curtain on this with an apology emanating from the minister. So he has withdrawn and apologized.
The leader spoke.
He took offense from something and he has withdrawn and apologized.
We in leadership have a responsibility. Unless you don't want me to speak, this parliament has two sides, regardless of your numbers. Let's look at the figures. The majority leader got up 3 times. He caught your attention. I have been trying to catch your attention. Speaker, we want to get to the bottom of this matter. And Speaker, I invite you to the budget. Everybody should take the budget. Those who have copies should take the budget. No, I insist. Take the budget. Yes. Speaker, come with me to page 1.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
Speaker,
we have resolved this particular matter.
So listen to us. Listen to us. Nothing is here. It's here. No, but why did you give it to the next video? Why did you give it to your next debater? Speaker,
Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip. There is a principle.
No, Speaker.
There is a principle that he who assents, he who assents must attempt to prove.
I want to prove.
You are not making any assertion. I have given him the opportunity, and he took us to the necessary relevant pages from which he is speaking.
He should listen to me. Mr. Speaker, I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and we'll settle this matter here. Look, with the greatest respect, everybody, you can take the budget. Now, Speaker, if you have the budget, I'm starting from page 184. Page 184. Now, if you look at page 184, and then you come under item 34, 1, 2, 3, retooling of Air Force. That's the first figure I want to quote. No. The figure there is 2.6 billion Ghana cedis. Now, note it, write it down. And then let's move on to
page 190.
Page 190.
Which is a commitment for 2027.
Now, that is a commitment for 2027. Under the same description, retooling of the Air Force, and that is 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now let's move on.
196. Page 196.
Now, Speaker, page 196. Page 916. Under the same description, retooling of the Air Force, and that is 3.3 billion. As against the year 2028. Now let's move on.
2025. Which is 202.
Now, then we go to page. No, be patient. No. Now, Speaker, come with me to page 202. Under the same description, retooling of the Air Force, it comes up to some 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. Now, why are you in a hurry? Now, Speaker, I attended whole Anglican primary school.
We have moved away from the school that you have attended.
Well, it's just by the way. Now, when you put all that together,
Huh? Speaker, when you put all that together, even granted that even your mathematics is so bad, if you put all the four together, it comes up to 4 years. 4 years. It's captured in the budget. It comes up to 12.9 billion Ghana cedis. Now, who divided on yourself?
11. Maybe 11. So
divide it quickly. I want to convert to dollars. Yes. You people, why are you running away for your budget? Nothing is here. It's here. It comes out to what? The dollars?
it can come out to 1.29 billion.
Okay. Yes. Yes. It is 11 or 10? 10. Now, Speaker. Speaker, do a simple arithmetic in your bid to convert it into dollars. A simple arithmetic. Divide that figure by 10. Some 1.29 million, right?
You are dividing it by what? You are dividing it by what?
$1.29 billion.
You are dividing it by what?
Now you see.
Hello, Honorable Minority Chief Whip. You are dividing it by what?
Speaker, can I conclude? I want to conclude. Our majority leader, clearly, leader, your Boku mathematics is suspect. Majority leader, revisit your Boku mathematics. Your Boku mathematics is suspect. Now, we are not inventing these figures. These figures were prepared at the instance of the president by the finance minister. If you doubt, majority leader, don't oscillate. Don't oscillate. If you doubt these figures, I quoted the pages to you, and I quoted the figures to you. If you doubt it, come back and respond to these figures. Mr. Speaker, we beg you. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minority. You are done.
I'm not done.
Are you done?
Speaker, we are saying we have insisted in all our presentation. It has been based on facts. In all our presentation, it has been based on facts.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Honorable Minority Chief Whip. I believe you agree with me that all the pages that you have referred to and all the figures that you have quoted, none is in dollars.
So, Speaker, yes.
Yes, Majority Leader, you have the floor. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Leader, let me speak very quickly.
Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Yeah, so clearly, can I conclude? Oh, Leader, I want to conclude so I can speak.
Oh, I
Leader,
thought you've concluded.
You're the leader of the House. You have had so many times. Let me conclude and you can speak.
I thought you have concluded.
So, we don't need to belabor the point. My respected ranking member was on all fours in terms of the facts. Mr. Speaker, you can argue that the figure is not quoted in dollars. Yes, but you can do the conversion. When you do the conversion, he's not far from right. He's not far from right. Majority Leader, I beg you.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip, why would the figure be quoted in our legal tender? Then you will be doing conversion. Yes, Honorable Majority Leader, you have the floor.
You have the floor.
You have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, let's not forget what was the issue. Let's get back to what was really the issue. The honorable member in the debate
Honorable Samuel Abujinapo. Honorable Samuel Abujinapo, I think you have to stop what you are doing.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
What was the issue? In Honorable Jinapo's submissions, in his comments, he said that we were buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion. He said we're buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion. That was why I got up. I normally don't interrupt debate. I have a book. I take note of everybody's argument. As I'm sitting, I'm writing. I take note of everybody's argument because I will have an opportunity to respond in the end. But when you throw out a figure out there that we are buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, the cameras captured it. We can play it back. The cameras captured it. That was why I got up on my feet and said, no, it's not possible. I even asked you, how much does Air Force One cost? So clearly he was wrong. When you now get up and say that all commitments for the next 4 years for retool.
Honorable members, I am observing carefully the disorderly conduct.
Mr. Speaker, I was in this chamber sometimes, I think more than a decade before many of you arrived. What you are doing, we've done Westerns. So I can assure you, it won't stop me from making my point. I'm saying that it will not stop me from making the point I want to make today. Even if we will sit here till midnight, my point I will make. And the point is that you lied when you said that we are spending $1.2 billion to buy a presidential jet. You lied. You lied. You lied. You are now trying to correct yourself by saying that all commitments for the next 4 years to retool the Air Force.
Honorable Majority Leader.
To retool the Air Force is $1.2 billion.
Honorable Majority Leader, with all due respect, the statement may not be correct, but the use of the word lied. I will ask that the lie be expunged. Order. I have given my directives, so all should resume their seats. So, Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, if there's nothing in the budget, that says that the government is buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, and a member stands and says that the government is buying a presidential jet for $1.2 billion, he has lied. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. What? Okay, so Mr. Speaker, do you want me to say that he was peddling falsehood? It's a lie. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a lie. And when we try to correct that, you now go and then take 4 years commitment for retooling the Air Force, and you now say that, oh, it justifies your earlier misrepresentation. You misrepresented. It's not in the budget. We're discussing 2026. It is possible for us to change the figures in 2027. We can change the figures in 2028. depending on the performance of the economy. So I don't have a problem. I'm not running away from spending 1.2 billion to retool our Air Force. I'm not running away. On the contrary, we in the NDC are very proud that we are able to spend 1.2 billion to retool our Air Force. We are very proud. You run the economy down. You mismanage the economy. You could not even raise money. You could not raise money to support the Air Force. We are confident. We are proud. We are happy that we have the capacity, and in the next 4 years, we will retool the Ghana Air Force and we will invest 1.2 billion United States dollars in the Air Force. We will. In the Air Force. We will. For 4 years. That's a problem. So, Mr. Speaker, I still stand my grounds that when he said that we are purchasing a presidential jet for 1.2 billion United States dollars, it is not in the records, and your decision that it should be struck off the records is right. If you go and tabulate all planned expenditure on retooling the Air Force, not buying a presidential jet, I will oppose. I will lead this House. I will lead this side. And if they don't support me, I will lead whoever is willing to be led to oppose using 1.2 billion of our money to buy a presidential jet. I will oppose it. But Mr. Speaker, I am happy. I am proud. I support the finance minister in the next 4 years, to invest $1.2 billion in retooling our Air Force. I support it.
Yes, former defense minister.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader is the leader of the House, and he's supposed to help control and help you to control the House with the others. But when he misleads the House, especially me, especially the fact that I'm sitting here, Mr. Speaker, I have the right to correct him. Mr. Speaker, we came here in 2023, Mr. Speaker, no, 2022, Mr. Speaker, July. I laid in this House the purchase of 6 LNG fighter jets for this our nation. Mr. Speaker, the cost of those aircraft at that time, the commitment we gave this nation was 150 million euro at a rate of 15 cedis to 1 euro. If you calculate, that's 1.6 billion Ghana cedi. Mr. Speaker, we committed this nation at one time, not 4 years, to 1.6 billion Ghana cedi. So when you say that we didn't do it, that is not true. That's the first thing I want you to know. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, secondly, it is a fact that your side led the rejection of the purchase of just 1 presidential jet. 1. Today you want to buy 2. And you will not apologize to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I'll get the chance to speak tomorrow. I will tell you why there are 2 presidential jets.
The issue on the floor. As a former minister in charge of defense, does retooling amount to purchase of presidential jet?
Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that tomorrow, I will say it, but I'll repeat it tomorrow. I will say it now. Mr. Speaker, I will say it now, but I'll repeat tomorrow. But let me read. Mr. Speaker, let me read page 136. Mr. Speaker, go to page 136, paragraph 1091. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Air Force will be retooled, full stop. Beginning 2026, the government of Ghana will begin the procurement processes for the acquisition of 4 modern helicopters and 1 long range and 1 medium range aircraft. These are presidential jets. A long range aircraft is not for the Air Force, it's for your comfort. It's presidential jets. The medium size, Boeing jets or Airbus jets are the long ones. And I mentioned that we did that one. They carry no less than 100 people. The medium range carry at least 25 people. They are all presidential jets. They are not CASA. They are not military jets. They are presidential jets.
Well, once you choose to set your own question instead of answering the question, may you humbly resume your seat.
They are not military jets. They are presidential jets.
May you humbly
for the
resume your
comfort of
seat.
the executive.
Very humbly.
Mr. Speaker, for the comfort of the executive, not for the soldiers. But tomorrow I will expand because I'll get my chance. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, when it comes to military, I may be a layman, but I do not understand retooling to amount to purchase of presidential jets. And honourable members, I have looked at the relevant pages referred to by the Minority Chief Whip for 4 years. I have not seen any quotation of any amount in dollars. I still stand by my directives that everything said by Honorable Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo relating to $1.2 billion be expunged from the record as not being correct. All right, members, let's make progress.
We want to thank you for your directives, but we on this side are not worried, even in the list. We are not worried in the list. All we will say is that the honourable member did not say anything inaccurate.
I will proceed to give the floor to Honourable.
He did not say anything inaccurate.
Honourable.
I will leave this for another day.
Thomas Walanyo, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to also comment on the budget statement and economic policy for 2026. Mr. Speaker, it's very surprising to see our colleagues this beautiful document that has given hope to the people of Ghana, the ordinary man on the streets, that all of them together have come together trying to find one fault in this beautiful document. It was a great surprise that they brought all their mathematicians and their calculators to the front bench, calculating figures to find one fault. Thank God they couldn't find one, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's also surprising to hear them propounding solutions to problems they could have solved. They could have solved in the last eight months. Today, we have taken over and we have provided solutions to problems that they have created. Mr. Speaker, today, market women in Hokwe called me and they were very happy because according to them, the budget the budget was written to their understanding. Because, number one, the VAT reforms that the government has brought has relieved or will relieve most of them of tax burdens. Mr. Speaker, I heard one of our senior colleagues about food inflation, that people are not able to buy, people are a lot of things. That yesterday, Mr. Speaker, because I'm a bachelor, I went to the market and I was able to buy what they were talking about, Mr. Speaker. Last year, this rice, which is Abena rice, was sold at 164 Ghana cedis. Just last year, Christmas, 164 Ghana cedis. This fried tore, Mr. Speaker, was sold at 60 Ghana cedis. Yesterday, just yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I bought this for 99 Ghana cedis. And I bought this oil, Mr. Speaker, for 39 Ghana cedis. This is evidence of the economy that we have transformed from where they left it, the junk status, to the status that we have transformed it up to. Mr. Speaker, the COVID levy that has been that will be taken out of our budget next year, which a member of parliament one of the members of parliament said it has not been taken out. Mr. Speaker, according to the market women, they said this COVID levy is going to put back in their packet of them 3.7 billion Ghana cedis. 3.7 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, all these are good news for our businessmen, our traders, and the ordinary man on the street. Mr. Speaker, on unemployment, last year, the Vice President said he created 2.1 million jobs. 2.1 million, that is more than the unemployed Ghanaians in the country. We have come out with holistic programs that will give jobs to our people. 800 jobs mentioned in the budget, creating jobs for the 800,000 jobs to be created in all angles. Mr. Speaker, one is a 24-hour economy. 24-hour economy that we are debating. Today, you go to Adenta. This yearly office in Adenta is running for 24 hours. Passport office is running for 24 hours. It means we have begun something last year, and we are going to continue. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the economic, agriculture, modernization, and agro-industry jobs, that's under Ministry of Agri, Feed Ghana, Farmer Service Center, Farm Banks, all these are creating jobs for the youth, including our brothers at the other side, including MPP members. All of them are getting jobs under this, unlike the failed projects that they introduced that collapsed under their watch just last year. Mr. Speaker, aside this, we have Youth Employment Agency, we have the digital skills, we have the Coders program, we have the digital centers that are opening regional offices to create more jobs for our youth. Mr. Speaker, Youth in Apprenticeship program has been allocated.
Honourable Member, your time is up. I'll give the floor to Honourable Nana Asafo-Adjei. You have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for giving me this opportunity to also comment to the budget statements made by the Finance Minister for and on behalf of the President of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, before I begin, I want to pay tribute to the young ladies that lost their lives during the military recruit stampede. Mr. Speaker, I share with their families, and I want to console each and every young man that fell victim as part of that job recruitment stampede. Those from Kumasi, those in Accra, and the rest of the country. Mr. Speaker, this brings me to a very critical and very important point, which is job creation. these young men and women left home to go look for jobs. Mr. Speaker, not just any jobs, but secured, sustainable jobs. That is what they went to look for. Mr. Speaker, when the finance minister in 2025 read the budget, some young men of this country were happy. Mr. Speaker, they were happy because in that budget allocation, or in that budget, the finance minister made some provision to job creation, and they were happy. Mr. Speaker, he mentioned the National Apprenticeship Program, where he allocated 300 million for that project. Because he mentioned the Ejumera project or program, where he allocated 100 million to that program. He mentioned the Digital Job Initiative, 1 million coders, and allocated 100 million to that. Then Kokon Kitinkiti, 245 million, and allocated 245 million. The Agriculture for Jobs and the National Employment Trust Fund. Mr. Speaker, when we were doing that budget debate here, I reminded my colleagues at the other side that President John Dramani Mahama, and the Hansard will bear me out, is not a new entity in the scheme of things. We know him. He has been a president before, and I recounted the things he mentioned to entice the youth, yet he failed to achieve them. Mr. Speaker, I mentioned the JIDA program. I mentioned the Sada tree planting program. I mentioned the Inconfirm program. I mentioned the youth in beads making. I mentioned the youth in potholes patching. I mentioned the youth in movie making. All these programs were programs that President John Dramani Mahama promised the young people, but ended up in sham. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the appropriation or you look at the disbursement, Mr. Speaker, all the programs I have mentioned here did not even get any allocation at all. Those who got allocation was not even more than 20% of them. So the young people in this country who want jobs to be 2025 budget ended up not having any job. Mr. Speaker, again, when you look at the budget here, in the 2026 budget, he has again rehashed and mentioned again these same programs. Mr. Speaker, he mentioned now the Ejumera program again, and now allocated 160 million. He mentioned the Nkukon Kitinkiti allocated 250 million. In the national coders allocated 100 million. Now the National Apprenticeship Program, Mr. Speaker, he mentioned 300 million in the 2025 budget and now reduced it to 100 million in the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, now in the 2024 budget, they didn't mention any figure, but told us in this house that the national coordinator for the 24-hour program will come to this house. The Speaker, he came to this house, put out his figures, and the program was launched. In the launch of that program, they mentioned that the 24-hour program, the flagship program of the NDC, the Speaker, would require 4 billion to do that. Now, in that document, the component of government commitment to that 4 billion, the Speaker, will be 7% of that 4 billion. Now, when you do 7% of that 4 billion, it is $280 million. The Speaker, when you look into the allocation of the 2026 budget, the minister and the government allocated 110 million. The Speaker, 110 million in dollars is $11 million, which is 3.92% of the allocation that is supposed to say. Mr. Speaker, the question we are asking is that, is this government committed to job creation? Is the youth who are looking up to this government that is going to create jobs should still be hoping and looking forward that jobs will indeed be created? Mr. Speaker, again in the budget, there were some components of jobs that were mentioned. Mr. Speaker, they mentioned that they were going to create 800,000 jobs. Mr. Speaker, and the 800,000 jobs, 490,000 of that 800,000 jobs are going to come from Big Push. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, the allocation to the Big Push is questionable based on the 2025 allocation or disbursement. 2, the jobs that are available, when you look at the World Bank report, Mr. Speaker, I have it here. The World Bank report is saying that only 13% of Ghanaian young men have sustainable jobs. And majority of the Ghanaians who are out there, those who died in Ewak, those who were stampeded in Kumasi, are skilled laborers and professionals. Mr. Speaker, yet the major component of the jobs that will be created by the 800,000 jobs are going to be laborer and pongpo work. Mr. Speaker, now, out of the 800,000 jobs, 250,000 of that jobs is going to come from the National Oil Policy, National Policy on Oil Palm Development Program. Mr. Speaker, it's a good initiative. I commend it. But Mr. Speaker, what is interesting is that in that budget, in the 2026 budget, paragraph 929, Mr. Speaker, in that budget, it is stating that the Oil Palm Development Program is a program that is spanning from 2026 to 2032. So, Mr. Speaker, the 250,000 jobs they are even mentioning, it's not 2016, it is 2032. Mr. Speaker, and yet again, it is not a sustainable job, it is a temporary job. Mr. Speaker, I want to submit on this point. And say that, Mr. Speaker, the youth of this country has been deceived. The youth of this country who were queuing and singing, Mahama is a oh, is a oh. Mr. Speaker, they have ended up. Mr. Speaker, they have ended up, the youth now have ended up singing, Mahama Dadamia, Mahama Dadamio, Mahama Dadamia, Jejemia Kukume. Mr. Speaker, what is again important here? What is important here is that,
are we in a music studio?
There is, Mr. Speaker, what is important here is that there is a hidden agenda. There's a hidden agenda of non-job creation, the austerity measures of IMF hidden in this budget. Mr. Speaker, I take you back to the 2025 budget. Mr. Speaker, we go to page 84, paragraph 478. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I read. In 2025, government would implement the following measures to keep the wage bill within sustainable levels. 1, fully implement the net freeze on employment by immediately putting on hold all recruitment, placement into public services. Mr. Speaker, this again, the public services and the recruitment did not find expression in the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, it is telling you that the hidden IMF agenda of austerity measure is playing here, and the youth of this country, Mr. Speaker, have no hope, have nowhere to turn to. Mr. Speaker, I again want to submit to the youth who are hoping and looking forward to the president and to this government to give them job, that there is no commitment of this government in creating jobs. None. Mr. Speaker, a government that is interested in creating jobs, Mr. Speaker, now allocate 290 million for the distribution of sanitary pads. Distribution of sanitary pads. And now, Mr. Speaker, allocate 100 million for the training of 1 million coders. Mr. Speaker, the youth out there, I am telling you that the distribution of sanitary pads is more important to the NDC government than the training of coders he mentioned. Mr. Speaker, the National Apprenticeship Program has been allocated 170 million. Yet the sanitary part has been allocated 292 million. Mr. Speaker, the Ejumera has been allocated 160 million, whilst the sanitary part has been allocated 292 million. Mr. Speaker, I am not surprised that all these things put together is telling the youth of this country that the hope is hopeless and there is nothing to look up for in the NDC administration or the NDC budget, particularly the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, I am saddened that the president makes some mentions of allocations in the budget, yet nothing was done about it. So it gives me so much problem or difficulty to believe and accept the allocations that were mentioned in the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, in paragraph 629, in paragraph 629, it mentioned the creation of the whole airport and making it a training hub. Mr. Speaker, nothing of that happened. Now, when you come to the 2026 budget, it mentioned again in paragraph 999 that the Bolegatanga airport will be created. Mr. Speaker, if I'm somebody in Bolegatanga, I will not believe this government because even the whole people have not even had their budget in their allocation to the airport in 2025. Mr. Speaker, again, he mentioned that in 2025 budget that there is an allocation of 242.5 million to the victim support of Akosomo Dam spillage. Mr. Speaker, that support to the Akosomo Dam spillage never happened. Now they are making another allocation in the 2025-26 budget that 500 million is being allocated to the dam spillage, victims of the dam spillage. Mr. Speaker, I ask that is it an addition to the 242 million that was in the 2025 budget, or they have scrapped the 42.5 million and they are now giving them a new 500 million. Mr. Speaker, clearly for me, the commitment of the government to job creation is questionable, it's in doubt, and it's not something we must place our head. Mr. Speaker, I am not surprised that the president is rather now committing to the purchase of an aircraft, a presidential jet, helicopter, and a ship at the cost of $1.2 billion. Mr. Speaker, that argument, our side still holds, and our argument, we still stand by it. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, Mr. Speaker, that was admitted by the majority. Mr. Speaker, that's fair. Our position and our price, the prices for the purchase of the aircraft, Mr. Speaker, is 1.2 billion, and we are surprised that there are important commitments that need to be done for the young people of this country to have jobs. Yet, the NDC government is interested in purchasing and procuring aircrafts and presidential jets.
Honorable member,
I want to
honorable
thank
member,
you for the opportunity,
will you kindly withdraw the purchase of jet 1.2 billion? I will again give consequential directives that nowhere is it stated in the budget that $1.2 billion will be used to purchase aircrafts. Accordingly, same is ordered to be expunged from the record as not being correct statement. I will then give the floor to Honorable Kwame Jijoli-Gakwe.
You are saying where? Look at me very well. No amount of propaganda, no amount of voodoo calculation, no amount of a day calculation will stop me from setting the record. Mr. Speaker, I use the opportunity to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for 2026 fiscal financial year, resetting the growth, job, and economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, the vision of this government is anchored on agriculture. Agric is the way to go. In the financial statement, it stated clearly that government is embarking on commercialization, modernization, mechanization, value-driven and market-driven, youth and women-led women-centered policies. So meaning youth are there, the women are there. So when it comes to gendered budget statement, the gender factors are all factored into the agreement. As I speak to you, I'm not going to talk about the whole policy because in this budget statement is like a good book, the Bible. So many things are in it. We can't finish today. I will just dwell on only two policies. One of them is the National Policy on Integrated Oil Palm Development from 2026 to 2030. Ordinary in policies or strategic document is 5 or 6 years. And so what they stipulated in this budget statement is correct, 6 years. That's the framework for the oil palm. And then, Mr. Speaker, this is the red gold, and this is the way Ghana should go. Formerly, first, we were leading, but we are able to bring Malaysians to Ghana and taught them at the end of the day, they are moving faster than us. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, Ghana is importing over 200,000 metric tons of oil to this country. And when you check on the oil market, a ton of the palm oil is going around $1,000. So if you multiply it by 200,000, Ghana is hopefully losing about $200,000. So in terms of that, that can do a lot for this country, $200 million. In terms of this, Mr. Speaker, the red gold is going to bring a lot of job for the youth and the women. It's going to bring a lot of foreign exchange also. And then when you look at the value chain, looking at the red gold, what is the palm itself, the tree takes about 4 to 5 years before start bearing fruit. And it will take you 25 good years to be harvesting, for 25 good years before you replant. And then in terms of replanting it, the palm tree can be used. You can get palm wine. You can also get appetition from inside. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you, when you look at the palm, in terms of fruits and drinks, we have palm oil, palm wine, palm sugar, palm kernel oil, palm sugar. Do research, you don't know. Do your research. Palm sugar is there. Bio shell fuel, palm kernel cake, and then palm oil, and then palm kernel oil. In terms of construction industry, palm oil, the palm tree can be used for leaves, are used for making roof, for shelter, for fencing. The trunks are used for log, they are used for pillars, and the leaves and fibers are woven into baskets as well as wall woven materials.
Honorable member for Suhu, why are you shouting?
In terms of households, palm oil, the palm tree can be used for broom, for furniture, for utensils, where the nut can be used to craft utensils. These are all value in terms of the value chain regards to palm alone. And if government is investing in palm nut plantation, is a way to go. Mr. Speaker, this is going to generate about 250,000 jobs when the plantation takes off. And government is going to cultivate over 100 hectares of plant plantation. And this 100 hectares is going to cost, and government is putting over 500, is it? 100,000, yes. And government is putting over $500 million into these investments. And which is fulfilling when you look at SDG 14, life below water. In view of this, Mr. Speaker, this is the way to go. So I will urge everyone, including our colleagues on the other side, to take this initiative positively. So when you say that this book have nothing in it, I disagree with you. There are good news in this in this budget statement. So it's a good initiative, and then all hands must be on deck to actually move on with this policy. Mr. Speaker, it will marvel you that it is only this time, in this era, that a budget statement will be read without Bible quotation. No Bible quotation was read. But in view of this, I want to give my colleagues one Bible quotation. They should go to Psalm 145 or 1 Chronicles 16:34. Listen to the wisdom. The Lord is good to all, and his tender mercy are all over President Mahama and the finance minister. Mr. Speaker, these are the good news in this budget statement. Mr. Speaker, I'll quickly move to aquaculture. Looking at this government this year was able to actually move through the revised version of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Act bill, and it was passed by this House. And the Fisheries and Aquaculture Act 2025 Act 1146 was marked as one of the turning points in regards to fishery industry in this country. As I speak to you, Cabinet have approved Ghana's first maritime protected area, which very soon will be in this House, because the MPA is very crucial. Why we Ghana did this things? It was actually located at the Greater Cape 3 Point into the western region, where the protection of these endangered species will rest, and the eco marine system and then fish habitat will continue to grow, because fish shortage is in Ghana. Ghana is importing a lot of fish, millions of dollars. Where we can go into aquaculture, the number of millions of dollars that are actually going out of this country can remain in this country, and they can boost our local economy. And as we speak, so this aquaculture aquaculture initiative is going to boost, to unlock all the full potential with regards to the ocean economy. One of the things I would like to say is that in this government, in regards to the national blue economy, is on course. And the national blue economy is anchored on SDG 14, which talks about life below the water. One of the good things also with regards to this law we passed is about the EEZ, the exclusive economic zone, now have been extended from 6 nautical miles to 12 nautical miles. And that is good news for our fisher folks as we speak. And the government have allocated a lot of resources with regards to the aquaculture. Why am I saying this? Government have allocated an amount of 100 million Ghana cedis for aquaculture, where 200 farmers will be involved, and then 50 professionals will be trained to actually guide them. And this boils down to women and children, women and youth for this project. In addition to that, input alone, government have budgeted also about 50 million Ghana cedis with regards to the inputs as well as that. In terms of mini harbor as well as markets, government have allocated 50 million Ghana cedis for doing that in the next year. So if you claim that there is no good news in this budget, these are some of the good news I'm sharing with you. So this government is committed. The budget is inclusive in terms of gendered issues. Transparent budget tracking is also involved. Accountability in terms of the budget is also inclusive with regards to this budget statement. So in all, I would like to urge the House to fasten, approval of the budget, so that the good news in this budget will kick off. In all, Mr. Speaker, I would like to use this opportunity to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk or contribute with regards to this budget. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Honourable members, I will then give the floor to Honourable Laurette Koko Asante. You have 15 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the debate on the 2026 budget statement and economic policy presented by the Honourable Minister for Finance. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget and economic policy presented to this House last week paints a glowing picture of prosperity and transformation, but beneath the glossy language and rhetoric lies a document full of half-baked measures, inconsistencies, and misguided fiscal priorities. The NDC government has left Ghanaians high and dry. They've left Ghanaians and kicked them to the curb, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government plans to purchase 4 helicopters, 2 jets, and 2 offshore vessels, what my great-grandmother in my constituency will call 2 ships. Mr. Speaker, this will cost a whopping over 12 billion Ghana cedis, which some of my constituents and the average Ghanaian can understand. In tree, it will cost a Mr. Speaker, do you know what that money can do for the average Ghanaian to ease their lives, Mr. Speaker? Like my constituents in Kwabing, in Warsaw, and Paming, at a time when the government is asking Ghanaians to sacrifice more, this is a clear case, Mr. Speaker, of Midofo Adadame budget. Mr. Speaker, how can the government seek to purchase 4 helicopters with landing gear, which is extremely expensive, 2 offshore vessels, and 2 presidential jets? When, Mr. Speaker, please listen to me, House. This is very important. I'm not playing partisan here. At a time when the maternal mortality rate in Ghana is rising, I made a statement of this last week with facts, okay? When young women are dying during childbirth or immediately after childbirth, which their deaths could have been prevented because the causes are known and treatable. Mr. Speaker, it's heartbreaking. It breaks my heart when I see the flyers, the funeral flyers of these young women who probably have recently married, dying.
Honorable Asante, I will ask that they should stop your time. Yes, Honorable Majority Chief Whip, they should stop your time. Yes.
Why? Mr. Speaker, I will not ordinarily do this, but you have given firm directives. You've given firm directives that we should stay within the terms of the budget in making our comments. There's nowhere in this document that this government is purchasing presidential jets. By all means, comment on the matters stated in paragraph 135, on page 135 and paragraph 1075 onwards. But don't deliberately label them presidential jets. They are not. They are not. So the guide, please, the guide given by the Mr. Speaker is something that should be binding on all of us. Let's be guided. Then we can enjoy the comments. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, you have the floor. Yes, Deputy Minority Leader. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I think we have a clear identification of aircrafts that are meant for military or defense intervention and aircrafts that are for normal travels. And for the presidency, I don't think it's very wrong to say or imply that this is a presidential jet. And it is something, and we cannot change it, and it is it's because when on this side, the majority denied the opportunity to do so. That's why they want to hide from it. But there is no gainsaying that particular aircraft described as a long distance It's a presidential
Honourable
gift.
member,
And we want to insist that
probably that is not what is stated in the budget. It may be your own interpretation. Yes, Honourable Koko Asante, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, as I was saying, how can the government seek to purchase jets, helicopters, and offshore vessels when cocoa farmers were given a paltry 12.27% in increase, which is about 396 cedis over this increase in price this year, when public sector workers were given a mere 9% increase, when emergency care is practically non-existent in Ghana because of the failure of our emergency care system, which remains severely under-resourced or entirely absent, when basic life-saving skills like defibrillators, which when you go to other countries, they're in supermarkets, they're in public places, they don't cost anything, it's non-existent to jumpstart a person's heart if they have a heart attack. When ventilators and oxygen are missing and lacking in regional and district hospitals, when the country lacks catheterization labs in regional or district hospitals to diagnose and treat heart attacks and heart conditions, as a result, patients die in transit. You all remember Dr. Kwame Edufori, a Konfuanochi teaching hospital, dedicated doctor who saved lives. He was an emergency room doctor. And yet, when he needed his life to be saved, when he needed an intervention, there was no cath lab at Konfuanochi Hospital. So what happened? What happened? He had to be transferred to Accra, and he died on the way. Isn't that heartbreaking?
It is.
So I'm wondering, my honorable members from the other side, to think about Dr. Eduofori before they approve the jets and the vessels. Because if a cath lab, and the cath lab doesn't cost that much, okay? It's used for diagnostic and treatment, so it doesn't cost that much. Yet in spite of the urgent needs of the Ghanaian people, the NDC government still plans to buy the jets, the 2 jets, the 4 helicopters, and 2 ships. The cost of these jets and the helicopters and vessels can provide many cath labs and life-saving tools and medicines to equip regional and district hospitals to prevent tragedies. This significant sum, Mr. Speaker, can be better directed towards health and education, which have a more direct positive impact on the livelihood of the ordinary Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, will traders who are suffering sit in the 2 jets? No. Will farmers who are suffering sit in the 4 helicopters? No. Will teachers who are suffering travel in the 2 jets? No. Will the nurses who are suffering use the offshore vehicles or ships? No. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget also does not have any immediate relief for the high utility tariffs. The budget statement failed to announce specific strong measures to drastically reduce the base tariffs that households pay for electricity and water. High utility costs remain a significant burden, major burden on families every month. The government's approach to utility costs does not provide for immediate and direct subsidies or tariff cuts for households. Electricity tariffs saw 3 increases this year, at least 14.75% in May, 2.45% on July 1st, and 1.14% on August 2025. Water tariffs also rose by 4.02% on May 3rd, 2025. But what the government plans to do, Mr. Speaker, again, is to buy 2 jets and 4 helicopters and 2 ships. Mr. Speaker, the government's priorities are clearly misplaced. Mr. Speaker, the budget also lacks a well-defined roadmap for execution of stalled projects. Despite the allocation of 100 million for completion of 10 Agenda 111 hospitals, the budget lacks detailed execution plans necessary to resolve the backlog of these stalled projects quickly and comprehensively. Specifically, there was no clear project-by-project schedule or phase completion date, right? meaning that the communities cannot determine when the hospitals will be complete. Is it the first quarter of 2026, the second quarter, the third quarter? They can't determine. And this leads to fears in the community that the very commitment is too limited and risks further delays, frustrating local community members who are anxiously waiting for these benefits, like my constituents in the township of Abowosu, where there's an Agenda 111 hospital that is, Mr. Speaker, 93% or more complete. They're anxiously waiting to use it. Instead of that, the government, instead of completing more than the 10 Agenda 111 hospitals, they're rather prioritizing the purchase of 2 jets, 4 helicopters with landing pads, Mr. Speaker. That's no ordinary vessel, okay? And then, Mr. Speaker, plus 2 ships. I ask, Mr. Speaker, is that the priority of the country? Traders are suffering. Farmers are suffering. Nurses are suffering. Teachers are suffering. Mr. Speaker, the budget also lacks a dedicated program to support micro, small, and medium enterprises to overcome the current high interest rate and the cautious nature of banks at this time. This leaves businesses, Mr. Speaker, who are the main drivers of job creation without the quick funding they need to invest and grow, which slows down job creation. Mr. Speaker, the Women's Bank, which was not established, although in spite of it being in the 2025 budget, has found its way again in the 2026 budget. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
While the 401 million allocation in the 2026 budget meets the BOG, Bank of Ghana Capital requirement, but even though it meets the commercial bank threshold, it is not sufficient to really boost the capital base. Even though it's 451 now, it's not sufficient for overall operational and capital expenditure. Mr. Speaker, the question for the Women's Bank is, how much of the allocation will go into the real delivery of the micro enterprises? Mr. Speaker, women entrepreneurs do not need another public relations gimmick. They need access to credit. As it stands now, the Women's Bank is merely a promise without delivery. As we saw earlier in the 2025 budget, Mr. Speaker, traders are suffering. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget, instead of consolidating and strengthening existing structures, the budget simply repackages old promises to score political points. Women deserve better. They deserve practical economic empowerment backed by realistic financing. Mr. Speaker, the much-touted 24-hour economy was announced by the NDC government as one of their flagship initiatives intended to boost productivity and job creation. But the budget lacks clear details with regards to how the government's allocation of the 110 million will be spent, the exact incentives offered, and a definite timeline. While the plan is to involve the DBG, Development Bank, and the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, the program's ultimate success hinges on private investment, which requires the government to quickly provide a clear and detailed blueprint that the stakeholders are still requesting. The funding is also inadequate. And I won't even go into the 133 or the 419, I don't want to get into that, okay? But anyway, Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget undoubtedly shows no clear road arrears clearance. There is no schedule and no transparency on how accumulated arrears will be cleared. Contractors, Mr. Speaker, contractors are still in distress, financial distress. Many of them cannot pay loans.
Yes, Honorable Richard Achampong, Honorable Koko Asante, hold it. Honorable Richard Achampong, you have the floor.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I think we have time allotment for every member speaking. Leaders are supposed to use 1 hour each. Other leadership
we're giving them 35. Chairpersons, ranking, vice, 15 minutes. Other members, 5 minutes. I don't know if, but she's done more than 11 minutes. Ranking for which committee? So, Mr. Speaker, she has exceeded her time allotment.
Honorable Richard Achampong, I believe before submitting the list to me, you have to cross-check all this. What I have before me, Honorable Laurette Koko Asante is supposed to speak for 15 minutes. So if the case is that she's not supposed to speak for 15 minutes, before conclave, all these things should be ironed out.
And Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the information. But I remember even the majority leader used certain words. He called upon him to retract those words. How can a member of parliament describe something as 419? Mr. Speaker, this is unparliamentary.
Honorable Koko Asante, the record will show that at the point when I, for instance, an event with 419, I was asked to withdraw and apologize. So kindly withdraw the word 419 and apologize. It is something that is associated with criminality. Please withdraw. Honorable Koko Asante, kindly withdraw.
Mr. Speaker, I believe if I recall correctly, I said I can't, I don't know if it's 133, I don't want to get into that. That's what I said. So.
Why?
Honorable members are directed that the use of 419, which is associated with criminality, should be expunged from our record as if it does not exist.
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided. Thank you.
Yes, you may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Many of the contractors, as I was saying, are under distress. They can't pay their loans, can't pay workers, have had their equipment repossessed, and yet the government wants to buy 2 jets, 4 helicopters, 2 ships. When contractors are suffering, teachers are suffering, nurses are suffering, traders and farmers are suffering. Mr. Speaker, switching to education, which is critical for our national development. The education sector received a large nominal sum totaling 43.2 billion, 33.3 billion for the Ministry of Education, and 9.9 billion for GET Fund, which constitutes about 14.3% of the 2026 total government expenditure. However, this is still inadequate because it falls below the 15% to 20% international benchmark recommended by organizations like UNESCO. It's barely enough to solve the long-standing massive problems such as needed to improve teacher quality, teacher vacancies, and acquisition of necessary resources to meet global standards. Mr. Speaker, the underserved and rural constituencies, communities like my constituency at Tiwa West, the teacher shortage has reached real alarming levels, right? Schools in these areas operate with 1 or 2 teachers handling multiple classes, leading to chronic loss of instruction and deteriorating performance. There's a widening learning inequality between rural and urban areas, poor performance in core subjects, and rising dropout rates. Mr. Speaker, the problem of teacher shortage must be fully addressed. It has not. Mr. Speaker, TVET funding also has not received any major funding push, and for the long-term job skills mismatch. The youth need this, Mr. Speaker. The youth are suffering and they need skills training. So, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the 2026 budget is heavy on rhetoric. It's light on substance. The government came to power with loud promises. However, all we have now is spin. Ghanaians deserve better. They deserve a government that feels their pain and responds to their struggles. It's about time the government stopped playing chaskele with the Ghanaians. that this budget is Medofo Adadami budget. Medofo Adadami.
Honourable members, it's now the turn of Honourable Kofi Bentel Afu.
Thank
you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You are speaking for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to comment on the budget statement of the President as presented by the Minister for Finance to this House. And to go into it, Mr. Speaker, not too long ago, Ghanaians all over the country were in despair as to what was happening, to the extent that some have even lost confidence in the nation of not wanting to go to the polls to vote. Then came a savior in the person of President John Dramani Mahama. And in his first budget, which was presented to us this year, we saw most of the things he did to reset the economy. However, our friends on the other side have tried to argue that before the president took power, they had grown the economy by 5.7%. Mr. Speaker, if growth of an economy, and for that matter, its development, is only to be realized in the GDP growth rate, then I think what will it profit an economy if it grew by 5.7% and had to borrow so much to the extent that it became bankrupt and had to go begging arms in arm for its creditors to forgive its debts, to the extent of even creating different shades of haircuts, including Sakura. Mr. Speaker, if this is what we do to grow an economy, then I beg to differ because, Mr. Speaker, what will it profit an economy if it touts itself to have grown by 5.7%, and yet unemployment rates for 14.7%, a remnant of which we saw at EWAC recently, which a responsible president in the person of John Dramani Mahama has taken responsibility to take care of all the injured and even the diseased. Mr. Speaker, what will it profit an economy if it says it had grew by 5.7%, and yet inflation rate was hovering around 50% at a point in time to an end-of-year rate of 23%, making cost of living so high for its citizens? Mr. Speaker, what will it profit a country if it says it had grown by 5.7%, and yet exchange rates were hovering around 28 and 30%? If this is how a party, a political party for that matter, will manage an economy, then I have no distrust to believe that the result of what we saw in 2024 election has come to this far. Mr. Speaker, before I became a parliamentarian, I heard that this house had two sides, your left-hand side and your right-hand side. But ever since I came here, I have seen a median. However, what I have seen are corners, 4 of them, one of which is occupied by the MPP, which was in previous government. So today, our friends in one corner are trying to tell us that they have forgotten the basic economics of the distinction between economic growth and economic development. Today, we are presenting a budget which is not only seeking to grow the economy, but to develop it. Even though we have stated to grow the economy by 4.8%, Mr. Speaker, in this 4.8%, 800,000 jobs are going to be created to solve some of the problems they left behind. In this 4.8 growth rate we are estimating, Mr. Speaker, exchange rate is currently hovering around 10.9%. Inflation is below 8%, and we are targeting an end of year of 5%. Mr. Speaker, if this is how they want us to grow the economy like they did, then let them know that we are not going to manage the economy, because if this is what you did, then I'm not surprised that you went into the examination in December 2024, and your best score was 87 out of 276. You see, we have been reduced to one corner. In this one corner, a minority you are enjoying. We would not want to be like you. We would not want to be like you. And so we are treading cautiously. The Minister for Finance, not only is he a finance expert, he is also an accountant and has taught us how to prudently manage an economy. That is why he's not running his mouth. He doesn't want to run away. He doesn't want to be a fugitive of justice. He wants to be able to come back home and attend funerals of relatives. And that is why he has given us this budget. I know, Mr. Speaker, their only fear is that by the time the programs in this budget have been executed, they will become extinct. And that is why they are doing everything to comment and say this budget cannot transform us. However, the matter speaks for itself. All what the minister has done can clearly tell us that not only is he looking at raking in more revenue, he has also put in measures to stop the leakages, most of which he inherited during their time. You know, to the extent that he is deploying an AI mechanism to make sure all the loopholes occurring at our ports are plugged and blocked so that we rake in more revenue. In fact, if you want to do well as in an economic management, it is not only the case that you focus on raking revenue. If you also are able to block the leakages, make your spendings optimum, and try to be disciplined in your spending. Obviously, if you cannot even rake in more, you will block the leakages and still be better off as an economic manager. This is what we want you to learn. This is what we are doing. And by the time we are done, Mr. Speaker, I know these Egyptians we are seeing today, I know by the time we will not see them anymore. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It's now the turn of Honorable Nana Ajay Bafwa. You are speaking for 15 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to take part in this debate. Mr. Speaker, I pray for your indulgence to join my brother Nana Kwame Asafo-Adjei to pay tribute to the 6 gallant women, young women, patriotic young women who sought to serve their nation, but unfortunately met their untimely death. At this point, Mr. Speaker, whilst you've extended your indulgence to me, Mr. Speaker, I wish to mention their names for them to know that we acknowledge what they have gone through. Mr. Speaker, my condolences go to Prudence Ayisi. My condolences go to the family of Prudence Ayisi. My condolences go to Alice Owusu, the family of Alice Owusu. My condolences go to Abigail, the family of Abigail Boateng, the family of Sarah Mensah, the family of Esther Appiah, and Mercy Owusu. Mr. Speaker, these women were not seeking to only serve the country, but to also join the many Ghanaian women who have succeeded in breaking traditional boundaries and stereotype. Unfortunately, they met their untimely death. Mr. Speaker, it was unfortunate. To the many that sustained different forms and degrees of injuries across the country, consistent with Exodus chapter 15, verse 26, I assure you that the Lord is your healer. Mr. Speaker, these young ladies met their untimely death just so they could get meaningful, well-paying jobs. Unfortunately, they died. Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate, and that as a House, we need to commit to ensure that there would be abundant job for the Ghanaian, particularly our teeming youth who are graduating from our various institutions of learning. Mr. Speaker, this is why we are concerned about the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately for us as a nation, yes, we do concede that there's some good macroeconomic indicators, no matter the disconnect between the indicators and the reality, there is that concession. That said, Mr. Speaker, there's one thing that has eluded us as a country, and that thing is the sustainability of the indicators. Mr. Speaker, we cannot say that the indicators we are seeing today is unique. Yes, there may be some improvement. That said, Mr. Speaker, it has become cyclical, that once we subscribe to an IMF program, we begin to experience good indicators. Mr. Speaker, the question we have failed to ask ourselves, indeed, even if we have asked ourselves, the question we have failed to answer is why has the sustainability of the indicators eluded us? Mr. Speaker, it's not far-fetched. The answer is not far-fetched. The answer is in our expenditure choices. Mr. Speaker, when you are running a revenue shortfall, definitely you need to be careful with your expenditure. But when you choose to spend 13 billion cedis in the procurement of aircraft, Mr. Speaker, that certainly is not a prudent expenditure choice. When you choose to spend 13 billion cedis over a period of 4 years to procure aircraft, that is not a prudent expenditure. You know why it's not? I'll tell you why. Mr. Speaker, firstly, we need to convert the 13 billion cedis into dollars. And so the $1 billion that you've been pumping into the economy, you pump it with your left hand and take it with your right hand and export it to a foreign country just to procure jets. Mr. Speaker, whilst you make that choice, what you forget is that you are not just giving the foreign country revenue, you are also giving them, Mr. Speaker, jobs. Whilst your people in your country are not getting jobs, your taxpayers, the people from whom you obtained the 13 billion, they are struggling to get jobs. And this is the decision or the choice you choose to make at this point of austerity, Mr. Speaker, is certainly not a prudent choice. Mr. Speaker, I am not a prophet. I am not a prophet. But, Mr. Speaker, there is one thing I can prophesy on the floor of Parliament today, that in no time, the NDC government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be running back to the IMF because of the choices it is making. It is a very imprudent economic choice. Mr. Speaker, why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when you have 78,000 nurses unemployed in your country? Why would you? Why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when more than 6,000 teachers are struggling to get employment? Why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when about 60% of the 300,000 Ghanaian graduates on a yearly basis don't get employment? Yet you have chosen. Unfortunately, we have learned our lessons and we are advising you. You know, when you are struggling to get your people employment, these are the choices you've chosen to make. Mr. Speaker, when we say you are not creating employment, your reaction is that you are creating 800,000 jobs. We have reminded you that the 800,000 jobs, they are mainly fleeting by-day jobs. Wala tu wala sa. That is all they are. Which of these jobs will your 60% of the 300,000 graduates do? None. None. Which of these jobs will your 78,000 nurses do? None. Which of these jobs will your over 6,000 teachers who you are struggling to recruit do? None. Mr. Speaker, obviously, little wonder that the World Bank, in its annual update in the month of June 2025, stated as follows. Mr. Speaker, it stated that This is stated that a state where economic growth has critically failed to translate into meaningful job creation. Mr. Speaker, our economic growth continues to fail to translate into meaningful job creation because of such choices. When you choose to spend $13 billion cedis to procure aircraft, Mr. Speaker, and I've heard some of our colleagues say that it doesn't include presidential jet. The record of this House will bear us out that any time presidential jets have been recruited in this country, they come in the form of military route ruling. And so therefore, Mr. Speaker, we know that what is being procured is a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, our president prefers comfort to the employment of the Ghanaian youth. Our president prefers comfort to the employment of the Ghanaian youth. That is what is happening, Mr. Speaker. The many youth who had hope that the NDC through its reset agenda was going to create meaningful jobs for them, some of whom have stayed home for 10 years, some of whom have remained unemployed for 5 years. Mr. Speaker, you have disappointed them. You have disappointed them. And it doesn't look like the 2 years ahead of the year 2026, you are going to create the needed jobs. They have been disappointed, and it's unfortunate that this is happening, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Malaysia did not develop by making such expenditure choices. Malaysia didn't. It didn't become an Asian tiger by procuring aircraft when its teeming youth don't have a job. Singapore did not develop when its teeming youth were struggling to procure aircraft. Mr. Speaker, when the NDC said it was going to reset, the expectation was that they were going to do something different. However, what they pursue is the status quo, creating unemployment. You have no interest in creating jobs for our people, and it's unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, at this point, in our quest to assist the government to consolidate its finances to create jobs, having advised you on the need to abandon your procurement of the jets, Mr. Speaker, I will draw your attention to the need to consolidate the institutions of state in the fight against corruption. Mr. Speaker, I take you to the budget of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Mr. Speaker, we are told that this year we are giving the Office of the Special Prosecutor a budget of 158 million cedis. Mr. Speaker, it's about time we take a critical look at our expenditure. Mr. Speaker, we have too many institutions fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, the question we have to ask ourselves is whether or not the Office of the Special Prosecutor remains a necessity. Mr. Speaker, the question we need to ask ourselves is whether or not what the Office of the Special Prosecutor is doing, the Financial and Intelligence Center cannot do. The Economic and Organized Crime Office cannot do. Mr. Speaker, in this light, Mr. Speaker, we are told that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I have never defended it, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, as part of its achievements this year, helped the Controller and Accountant General to recover some money through a corruption risk assessment. Mr. Speaker, the Controller and Accountant General already has an integrated solution for fighting fraud. Mr. Speaker, it is either we are not being told the truth or the integrated solution for fighting fraud at the Office of the Controller and Accountant General is not working. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that corruption risk assessment in and of itself can never help in uncovering fraud. Mr. Speaker, when there is a computer software for doing so, Mr. Speaker, we need to consolidate the institutions that fight corruption in this country, Mr. Speaker, by making sure that we avoid duplicity and enhance investment in those institutions, just to make sure, Mr. Speaker, that corruption is fought well without losing good money, Mr. Speaker, as we have seen over the period. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I would want to invite the Attorney General to review the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Mr. Speaker, we have tried it in excess of 7 years. The results is there for us to see. It is good money chasing bad money. Very respectfully, Mr. Speaker, these are my submissions. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, I give the floor to Honourable Dr. Jasau.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity to add my comments to the budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the financial year 2026. Mr. Speaker, please allow me to make some preliminary observations from some of the submissions that some of my colleagues have made. Mr. Speaker, I see that there appear to be a fetish on referring to retooling of the Ghana Armed Forces as buying of presidential jets. Mr. Speaker, assuming that were even the case, I submit that buying a jet, therefore, is better than hiring a jet that you need to bath in the sky. Mr. Speaker, if you have the courtesy to complain about maternal mortality, Mr. Speaker, you will also have to explain to us why you sank $400 million in a hole that you describe as a
Honourable member, you are speaking for 15 minutes.
Mr. Speaker.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, I've heard complaints that there were no compensations to the Akosombo Dam spillage victims. Mr. Speaker, the NDC, even in opposition, led initiatives that resettled these victims. It led initiatives that built clinics, schools, fed the victims. When His Excellency the President Akufo-Addo got there, he said they didn't vote for him, and therefore he had no way to care for them. This is the record of this country. Mr. Speaker, that said, let me commend the Minister for Finance for coming to this House in fulfillment of his constitutional obligation under Article 179 and also the Public Financial Management Act, 2016 Act 921, Section 21. Mr. Speaker, he came and delivered the budget on a theme resetting for growth, jobs, and economic transformation. Mr. Speaker, having read through the budget statement and economic policy, I'm convinced that a lot of deliberate thinking was put in place to be able to come up with this economic policy. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the sections that relate to agriculture in our country, Mr. Speaker would realize that there is a deliberate agenda to see how we can plug a loophole that we've observed in our budget statements in the last few years. Mr. Speaker, one of it is that we've always talked, and the programs and projects that we project are not anything that contributes to economic growth. But on this particular one, Mr. Speaker, you will see that there has been a deliberate effort to speak to the productive capacity building of our economy. Mr. Speaker, why do I say so? Mr. Speaker, if you take the cocoa subsector, you would observe that a lot of arrangements have been put in place that is contributing to growth of the subsector. And growth of that subsector
is going to translate into value-added jobs that many Ghanaians will benefit from. Mr. Speaker will recall that in the last budget debate, we complained about cocoa sector debt of 32.5 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to report that that debt has been reduced drastically. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, we complained about cocoa sector roads alone having a debt of 21 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, you recall that we complained that we owed the international financial institutions cocoa of 333,000 metric tons that we couldn't pay for. They had to be rolled over. Now production has increased from the under 500,000 metric tons that we witnessed last year to at least 603,000 metric tons. Mr. Speaker, this is so significant because it's been able to allow us to pay that debt by contributing 243,000 metric tons of cocoa. We just have about 90,000 metric tons to go. And Mr. Speaker, with the current projection levels and production levels that are ongoing, I'm convinced that we'll be able to make up the production quantities and be able to pay our debts and raise some more additional income. Mr. Speaker, some of the programs that have been budgeted for in the 2026 budget that is so important and that we must encourage as part of the reasons why we should support the passage of this budget is that we have free cocoa spraying that is coming up and will cost us about 2.4 billion Ghana cedis. At the same time, free fertilizer is back for the cocoa subsector. Mr. Speaker, when you have this, it means that the cost of production of the cocoa per unit area for the farmer is going to be less. Once it is less, more growth will come into the economy and the farmer is likely to reap more gains. And so, Mr. Speaker, this is something we must support. Mr. Speaker, if you look at paragraph 296, the budget actually tells us that we are going to have an additional 200,000 hectares of cocoa under cultivation. Mr. Speaker, this is a highly decisive step. This is a highly decisive strategic policy, and I think that we must support this and make sure this gives us security, because now you are not going to depend on only individual farmers with their 3 acres, 10 acres, but you have a 200,000 hectare security of cocoa farms that you can project. You can project in real time how much cocoa beans you'll be able to harvest and sell to the international market. Mr. Speaker, complementing this is oil palm. That is referred to as the red gold. Mr. Speaker, the oil palm sector is also another productive sector that is complementing the cocoa. And if you can have these growing in the ways that we envisage, where we are going to have in paragraph 933, it refers to that we are going to have about 100,000 additional hectares of new oil palm plantations. Mr. Speaker, this is clearly investing in productive sectors whose value chains is going to translate into a number of jobs for our people. Mr. Speaker, government is deliberate about this. There's a budget of $500 million that is going to be rolled over 4 years to be able to handle the production of this sector in a way that we can eventually be competitive with other countries such as Malaysia. Mr. Speaker, complementing this is also rubber. Rubber Ghana at the moment, we have about 178,000 metric tons capacity, but the only raw rubber that we get in the country is just about 100,000 metric tons. And so government have again been decisive in projecting a policy of restricting the exportation of raw rubber. Now, if we restrict the exportation of raw rubber, complementing with additional production capacity of the rubber subsector, it means that we'll be able to process this rubber in country. And if we can achieve processing rubber in country, that would likely, in fact, that would definitely throw a lot of jobs along the value chain. And so I see these 3 crops, cocoa, the oil palm, and also rubber, as strategic, and I am very excited that this budget has deliberately handled these and then allocated a lot of financing budgets to it. Mr. Speaker, I call on all of us to even consider taking some plantations in these oil palm fields.
Mr. Speaker, the other complementing one is the Feed Ghana program. Mr. Speaker, will realize that the food price inflation has come down. This year, we are recording 8% food price inflation. Mr. Speaker, that tells you that the rate at which food prices had been increasing that we witnessed in the past is actually slowed down. And that means that many more families are able to afford food. And so, Mr. Speaker, you cannot underrate this. At the same time, the 2026 budget is adding additional measures that will encourage and consolidate this. One of them is that all institutions that are going to be government subvented will need to buy food that are made in Ghana. It means that all these production levels are going to find markets in these institutions that we are talking about. Mr. Speaker, for the first time, the National Food Buffer Stock has found expression in our budget. And actually, there's money allocated to buffer stock to be able to execute their mandate, which is to mop up excess food that is produced at the farm gate, store it, and bring it back to the market in a way, in a logistical arrangement that will make sure food prices do not exceed a certain limit. Mr. Speaker, if we can do this, again complementing with the Nkukor Kitinkiti program, where we are going to have poultry for every district up to 10,000 birds and more in coming years, meaning that these Nkukor Kitinkiti will need to feed from the maize and soya that farmers produce. And so very soon, that issue of glut in the market will be a thing of the past. Mr. Speaker, an additional aspect that we need to talk about is irrigation for wealth. Mr. Speaker, we realize that all of us are experiencing the vagaries of climate change. We don't know when the next rain is coming, and so farmers are really unable to predict how their production cycles are going to run. And so the irrigation for wealth creation is a well-thought program, which is a very direct intervention that will help our farmers maintain, in fact, take care of the risks of the rainfall patterns that they cannot predict. Mr. Speaker, I realize that there's a huge budget of solar boreholes that are going to be created, that are going to be sunk as part of the irrigation for wealth creation. And Mr. Speaker, I see this as a deliberate response to some of the challenges we are facing in the agricultural subsector. Mr. Speaker, complementing all these is the big push road projects that are ongoing on. This is going to support drastically the logistics of carting food from production centers to market centers or consumption centers. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, the government is complementing this with an additional 1,000-kilometer road that will be directed at farm producing areas and farming areas. Mr. Speaker, these roads will do a lot in reducing costs of food production, cost of selling food, cost of sending these foods to areas that are needed for consumption. And so, Mr. Speaker, if you look at these gamut of projects, amongst others, you will be convinced that government has thought through these projects very carefully and strategically and invested the needed resources that will help us grow the sector in the ways that we want. Mr. Speaker, allow me to make a further comment on the fisheries subsector. Mr. Speaker, would remember that recently we just passed the new Fisheries Act, which is Act 1146, 2025. Mr. Speaker, this law is being given expression to in the new budget and economic policy. Mr. Speaker, IUU fishing is something that will be a thing of the past because there's adequate provision for us to fight IUU, and the law buttresses and backs us as well. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, there's a huge conversation around aquaculture in the law and also in the economic policy. And so, Mr. Speaker, this sector is linked very conveniently with the 24-hour economic policy of government, where women and youth employment are emphasized. So there will be aquaculture for women and youth, and there's a huge budget outlay for that. Mr. Speaker, that means that a lot of our youth in the coastal belt and fishing communities will be taken care of adequately under this project. And Mr. Speaker, we should support this. At the same time, fishing inputs, fishing market constructions have also been budgeted for. And so, Mr. Speaker, even with these three interventions, you see that they've been deliberately thought through, They've been consciously provided for, and they are things that will help the growth of the economies of those local areas, at the same time create the jobs that we need for these local areas. Mr. Speaker, allow me to further conclude by submitting to you that one significant thing that is happening is that the production levels that we have found increased in this country are not out of an accident. It is something that has been deliberate, and so what we are going to do, and that's what the 2026 budget comes to solve, is that it's going to make sure that we pay attention to value addition of the produce that we generate in the country. Mr. Speaker, I'm very confident that by close of year 2026, every one of us will have been satisfied that we don't have food security challenges anymore, and that we are on the path of growth, and that agriculture is truly contributing to the growth of the economy. I thank you for the opportunity, and I call on this House to endorse the statement. Thank you.
Honourable members, we now proceed to give the floor to Honourable Osei Kennedy Nyako. You have 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, already we are tired, so I don't intend to keep members sitting for long. Though you have given me 15 minutes, I've been sitting here. Yes, so, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to make a few comments on the budget statement and the economic policy that was presented to this House on behalf of the President by the Finance Minister. Mr. Speaker, I have gone through the budget trying to find out what are exactly the government policies when it comes to the road and the transport sector. And it will surprise you that I couldn't find any. There is none. All that you see in the budget is the big push, big push, big push, and the rehash of their own manifesto promises. Mr. Speaker, the occasion of presenting a budget in this House is a very critical moment for members of Parliament, because this exercise gives us the opportunity to critique and scrutinize the various documents or allocations that have been made to this House. Mr. Speaker, no wonder that if you look at the 2025 budget, if you go through government performance when it comes to infrastructure, it's nothing to write home about as compared to even 2024, when the government, then the previous administration, was described as a government that has criminally managed the economy. Mr. Speaker, I hold in my hands, this is just a document that contains in the budget statement that was presented to this House. Appendix 1C. You can find it on page 151. The budget document that you are holding. The budget document you are holding. Go through it. Mr. Speaker, if you read paragraph 2.05, which is under the industry, it's under the industry. If you want to know how a country, the economy has performed, you talk about the industry, which has the manufacturing, the construction, which basically normally talks about the infrastructure development of this country. If you read, you will see that under 2024, in terms of contributions of infrastructure development to our GDP growth, it was 9.6. Sadly, in 2025, it declined to 2.9. And I was expecting that now that government is putting more money, government says that under the big push, it's going to spend over 51 billion Ghana cedi in the next 3 to 4 years. I was expecting that we will see some kind of improvement or growth in this sector. But, Mr. Speaker, even when you go to 2027, even that one, they are doing 5.2. So if you are to juxtapose it to the performance in 2024, that even they were saying that the Akufo-Addo government was not doing much. We did 9.2, 9.6 growth. It tells you how committed the government was, how the Akufo-Addo government invested into the infrastructure of this country. Mr. Speaker, today they say they are going to inject 30 billion into the big push. And out of this 30 billion, 70% will go into road construction, the road infrastructure, which is about 21 billion. Mr. Speaker, the question is, even in 2025, when they promised that 13.8, out of the 13.8, they were going to invest 70% of it, which is about 9.6 billion. I have in my hands here a document signed by the finance minister. This is the authorization, commencement authorization, that has given total of how much they are going to spend under the big push for the next 4 years. All the projects, about 32 projects that the government want to invest in, make investment, is here, and it's about 51 billion. So if they have given breakdown, they said the first year, which is 2025, they are going to commit, they are giving a commencement certificate of 7.6. Meanwhile, in the 2025 budget, the government is telling us that it's going to spend 70% of the 13.8, which is 9.0. So the question is, where is the 2 billion extra? You promised the people you want to invest this much. And now you are telling us that you can only invest 7.6. So does it mean you lied to the Ghanaian people? You deceived them? When in your own budget.
Honorable member, withdraw the word lie.
I'm guided, Mr. Speaker.
I'm asking you to withdraw.
Yeah, I've withdrawn, I'm guided. I've withdrawn, I'm guided. So you cannot deceive the people. You can't say one thing and deliver the other. Mr. Speaker, the next thing that I want to talk about is the government decision to construct an expressway of 198.7 kilometers of Accra Kumasi. I have no problem with it. But Mr. Speaker, the question is, how is the government going to fund it? In the budget, there is no allocation as to how the government is going to fund this project. The big push, that is why I'm saying that I have it here. All the project they want to spend within the next 4 years, they want to do is here, it's captured here, signed. Authorization certificate has been given that they cannot go outside this remit. It's here. I cannot find the Kumasi, the new expressway in it. Mr. Speaker, so the question is, it's good if government is looking for any other alternative to construct the expressway. But we must give priority already, Mr. Speaker. The Accra to Kumasi road, we hear stories about it. It has become danger. Government, the previous government has invested so much in constructing the bypasses, the 8 of them. Yes, the entire stretch from Accra to Kumasi is about 249.1 kilometers. Out of this stretch, Mr. Speaker, if you put the bypasses that we have done, and the one that they have already done, the dual carriage from Nsawam to Apeja Junction, and currently the one they are doing from Ofanko to Nsawam, if you put them together, we have already done about 155 kilometers of this road. What it is remaining is just about 94 kilometers. So as a prudent government, if you want to invest, will you go and look for a new funding to start a new project, or you will look for just money to complete the 94 kilometers which is left, to dualize it to make the road motorable and safe for people who are driving on it? Mr. Speaker, this will cost the government less than even going to invest over $1 billion in constructing the expressway. It's good. If government want to look for a PPP to develop it, but government should look for money to complete an investment. This is a huge investment the previous government has sunk in. It's the Ghanaian taxpayers' money. So why are we leaving that one or just delaying the project? When we could have invested this money, half of the money that we want to use to start a new project, we could have invested in it to complete this project. Mr. Speaker, it is not going to cost us even more than $500 million to complete this project. But it is going to cost us in excess of $1 billion if we want to do the 198.7 expressway. Maybe in the future, when we are able to solve this problem, the existing one, we have completed the bypasses, we'll be able to look for funding and do it. And I'll be happy because the project, the expressway, at least when it is done, it will go through Achimoda. I'll drive on it. But now, the most economic route in this country is the Accra-Kumasi Road. It connects almost about more than 11 regions. So if the previous administration have taken a bold step, yes, it is true that there have been some variation to the contract because the scope of work have increased. It is far more better to fund the fund to complete that project than to start a new one. When this project, even in the budget, government is telling us that it is going to take almost 4 years before you complete it. When the bypasses will not take more than 9 months to complete it, why are we doing this to ourselves as a people, as a country? So, Mr. Speaker, you see, the government may have nice policies, they want to do it, but we should not be reduced to just a mere rehash of manifesto promises. But there should be a commitment. Mr. Speaker, let me move to even the railway sector. In 2025, a zero allocation was made into the railway center. A sector that the previous government invested hugely, not less than $1.2 billion in various projects, ongoing projects. And zero allocation was made in 2025. The sad part is that even in 2026 that the government says is committed in investing in the railway sector, is just budgeted just 73 million. What is, do you know a kilometer of a railway track? The cost of a kilometer of a railway line, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about $5.5 million. So the 73 million that is allocating, what is it going to do? It means government is not committed in developing the railway sector. But when you come in the budget, they say, oh, we want to develop the railway sector. You cannot develop the railway sector by just rehashing your manifesto promises in the budget. The real commitment will show in the allocations, the various allocations that you are giving to. Now, Mr. Speaker, like I stated earlier on that I don't want to bother members too much with my comment. I am about to conclude. But before I conclude, various speakers on this side have made mention of government decision to procure 4 aircraft, 4 jets, 2 aircraft, and 1 ship. The ship is warship.
I thought you said you would speak for 5 minutes.
Yes, I'm within the 5 minutes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I don't have any problem if the government want to retool our security agencies, our army. I have no problem with it. But Mr. Speaker, there is a way that we can prioritize and do it. If you want to buy 4, you can decide to say, let's buy 1 or 2 and use the remaining money to also fix other urgent programs. Mr. Speaker, look at the nurses and the teacher trainees who are home. Mr. Speaker, this money, even this year's allocation in the budget, the 2.6 billion, if government decide that you want to just acquire only 2 of the jets and use the remaining money, they can employ almost about 60,000 nurses to work and pay them fully. They can employ, if government says that I want to just procure 2 of the jets and wait and procure the remaining next time and use the remaining amount to recruit the nurses and the teachers at home, they can recruit 60,000 trained teachers and nurses who are home. This shows a misplaced priority by the government. They are just interested in acquiring those aircraft and the planes for their own comfort. Mr. Speaker, I want to end here. But before I end, I want to send a word of caution to them. We have been in government before, and we knew how things became at a point in time. They shouldn't be so much comfortable with where they are now. We have been there before. They have to be very careful. The Ghanaian people one day, now that they say they will think that they have the goodwill with the Ghanaian people, the real test of this government will start showing in 2026. That time, they will say that we did not tell them.
Conclude in less than 1 minute. Your 15 minutes will be over.
Mr. Speaker, I want to end here. I don't want to add more to it. Thank you very much.
Honourable members, for a technical challenge reason, we may have to take 10 minutes break. So, yeah, it's not my fault, but it's a technical challenge. So we'll come back after 10 minutes for that technical issue to be resolved. So the House is temporarily suspended for 10 minutes.
Welcome back from Parliament. You're live in the studios of Channel 1 Television. Parliament is just taking a 10-minute break. Speaker has announced that it's owing to a technical challenge. And so the House is expected to resume in 10 minutes to continue with the debate on the budget statement. Our comrades are still in Parliament. Once the Speaker resumes his seat and allows for the debate to continue, we'll turn it back on and take you there for proceedings. I am Nana Tufo Boateng. Keep watching Channel 1 Television.